Hello, everybody, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are back this Wednesday, finally, for some 6&Twenty Metropolis here with the City of Mist. So let's go around and introduce our cast and crew, and then jump right into things. We'll start with Greg. Greg, who are you? Where can we find you? And who are you playing today?
Greg, Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. Tonight I will be playing Gephardt Caparelli, inventor, fan of 80s music, currently ensorcelled by a succubus.
Sweet. Also ensorcelled by a succubus, Miss Ginger Ninja, who are you? Where can we find you? And who are you playing tonight?
I am Miss Ginger Ninja. I run a gaming and tabletop channel. I am also under some type of a spell, but, you know, is she cute though? Find out this week.
Golly. Not ensorcelled whatsoever. Nope, you wanted to go last. We'll jump over to Sam. Who are you? Where can we find you? And who are you playing today?
I'm Sam, Wizenful on Twitch, DWizenful on Twitter. I'm playing JP today, who is not ensorcelled, but I think it may just be because her very forward advance just went over poor, sweet, naive JP's head.
I can buy that.
But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I just got punched really hard, I think. So hopefully I'll get to punch someone back.
You did get knocked across the room, I think. So that's pretty dope. And last, and definitely least, Johnny, who are you? Where can we find you? And tell us a little bit about City of Mist.
I'm Johnny. I'm the Video Store Cowboy. I'm the GM for this crazy thing that we call 6&Twenty. Tell you about City of Mist. I don't want to talk about City of Mist because we're playing City of Mist. I want to talk about City of Mist as Metropolis. City of Mist as Metropolis is this great system made by Son of Oak that allows us to do superhero kind of things with like a noir setting. And in our world of Metropolis, which is a slightly modified, custom world built, etc., etc. We've got gods, we've got fairy tales, we've got flights of fancy. We've got somebody who needs to be wearing some tights. I mean, let's be completely honest. The fact that he's not wearing tights is a little uncomfortable. I'm just going to put that out there.
The fact that you want me in tights is uncomfortable.
Yeah, Greg.
I also want to talk about the fact that there was a little OC that just came out of that Flora introduction there. Ginger.
I'm not in character yet.
No, that's just her in real life.
You said you had a picture of her.
All right. So that's me.
Cool. So before we get into things here, I will remind you guys. First, I'll tell you about some really, really cool shit that's happening right now. If you look in the center-ish of your screen, the upper center of your screen, there should be a little book with a dice on it. If you click on that, you can see a little bit of bio for each of our characters and one for Johnny, because I figured the GM should have one too. That is made by Metamancer. She is in chat. She's also part of our Tuesday game, and then part of the 6&Twenty crew on the Thursday game over on Not So Speedruns. Also, if you guys want to interact with the game, you can do that by hitting that donation section down below, or hitting that follows, retweets, or subscribers. Johnny, question?
No, I was just going to say, if Meta's in chat, I just found a bug. I'll hit you up afterwards. But I just found a bug with it.
Cool. And I think that's it. I believe that's everything. Guys, this is, as Johnny said, this is a City of Mist game created by Son of Oak. And if you guys want a chance to jump in and get this game, you can do so by clicking that link that's currently in chat, or by typing !MIST and using the coupon code 6&20FAN will get you $5 off of the book. And it is a tome. For what I got in this book, it's about 500 and something pages of all colored comic book art. So definitely check that shit out. It's pretty dope. Johnny, take us away to the City of
No,
Mist.
I'm talking to Meta. Leave me alone.
Sorry. We'll wait.
No. So previously on 6&Twenty Metropolis, during the beginning of the last episode was you were at the data center inside of the Pandora Delights headquarters in downtown, and the doors had opened to the elevator just after grabbing a bunch of really interesting information for a couple hours to find 4 gigantic guards in your way. To which, Malcolm, what did you do exactly? It was like you hit them with the side of your sword?
There were ninjas came out of nowhere and chopped them like ninjas. JP took notes. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah.
So you all escaped. You all went back to Gephardt's workshop. Excuse me. And we found a little bit of information about what I believe JP was looking for, to which you all went on a side adventure to discover one of JP's clones, which revealed a little bit about his mythos and the circumstances of which he's concerned. Do you want to talk very quickly about that, JP?
Sure. JP is going through a bit of an existential crisis about whether he's the clone or whether someone else is the clone. And he met himself at a very nice bar, a drag queen bar where one of his clones was performing. It was an excellent show, and they got to talking after, and JP learned that at least this clone has his own, he thinks that he had a family, remembers growing up on a farm, and so that didn't help JP's existential crisis, and we'll see how that plays out now. You're muted.
I'm sure what you're saying is insightful. But you're muted, so we can't hear anything you're saying.
You're still muted, though.
Still muted.
God damn it! I was trying to fix my volume, and I just...
You changed it,
I was
for sure.
I was really unsure about whether it was an existential crisis, because it's not out of... It's you. Well, anyways.
It's an interstitial crisis.
That's true. Well, but it is about, like, his place on the earth and, like, who is he? I think that counts as, like, a bit existential.
I'm getting a Zoolander vibe from JP. Who am I?
The files are inside the computer. That's my favorite part.
I get a lot of, except the cockiness, I get a lot of Zoolander from him.
That is... I don't know how to take that.
Is your signature move blue steel? I mean, have we seen JP at his finest yet?
You asked your other self?
We have. Oh, we didn't. That's a good point. We didn't. We just saw him singing.
Maybe it's Magnum.
We didn't see his looks. But
That's
all of
very
his
true.
looks are the same.
Which you can only turn to the left, right?
I'm not an ambi-turner.
People are the worst.
And so after that little adventure to that little sub adventure to find out who or what was going on with JP's little mythos or crisis, there was a conversation that happened between Malcolm and Cal. Do you want to share a little bit of what happened in that conversation?
No.
Okay.
But if you guys want to see, you guys can check out the show on YouTube. No, seriously though, I called Cal because Malcolm felt like every one of the adults was keeping things from Malcolm because he's a child, which is partially true and partially things that Malcolm makes up in his head. So he called the only other adult that he knew and was friends with, which was Cal, a guy he met in another situation of strange events, and then spouted off a bunch of random nonsense and got a lot of no, I have no idea, yep, no, goodbye, Malcolm. And that was pretty much that side of the conversation. And I got no information at all. But it was fun, though.
Was it fun? Okay. All right. So from that information, you decided to go back to Cal's location that was his old business and show them the murder board that Flickr had put together. And when you got there, there wasn't a lot of new information for you other than, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the only information that was incredibly important that you previously did not have is that somehow Aesir Industries and Chow Industries were connected into whatever is going on in Flickr's mind. Does that sound about right?
And the one other company, the pharmaceuticals.
The what?
MCX.
Pharmaceutical
MXC?
company, right?
MCX.
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 I was right.
Okay. So,
Great job, Greg.
walking into that situation, you were just kind of having a conversation and kind of trying to figure out, well, what else that you needed to do when in walked the current owner of the company, one lovely Siobhan, who was a little annoyed that people were actually in her building, but then decided to put on the charm and charm 3 out of the 4 of you. JP was the only one who didn't seem to be affected, and I think the assumption is right now that even though the roll said he wasn't affected, it was really just the fact that he is just a really nice little individual. He's a nice guy. He's a real innocent kind of guy. So with Gephardt in one arm and Flora in the other, and Malcolm kind of, being told to leave, Siobhan was going to escort Gephardt and Flora upstairs for some sort of extracurricular activity when JP took was upset about that. And so he engaged, stopped her from actually moving forward, to which she responded by knocking him across the room and transforming. JP, what was she transforming into?
A succubus, if I recall correctly.
That would correct. And with that, we sort of fade into the scene. JP, you have been knocked across the room. You are not taking a status at this point, because it was more of get the hell away from me kind of a thing rather than a damaging attack. But you are, you're there. You're on the ground.
JP stands up. He brushes some rubble or something off of his shoulder, cracks his neck, goes, "Oh, it's been a while since I felt it when someone hit me." Malcolm. This is a dangerous adventure we're on. I think you may need to get the crew out of here. I'll try to hold her back, but I'm not a ninja, so, you might need to protect your friends.
I know you're not.
And with that, her wings kind of spread out, and you can't see Flora or Gephardt right now. And she says, "They are mine."
I had a friend who said he had wings too.
She's got claws where her hands are. They're almost like talons,
Do you know the dragon?
And she kind of pauses and looks at you and says, "That's none of your business."
But you have wings and claws, and you're like, "Rah!" The dragon, I imagine, would also be like, "Rah!" because he's a dragon. You know how dragons work.
And she, in her right hand, is a whip, and she flicks it in your direction just to kind of scare you off.
I would like to quite literally jump into action. And what I mean by that is, as we know, JP can jump very far very quickly. So he kind of plants off of the wall he got tossed into and uses it to accelerate towards her. And he is going to try to execute a combination of strikes to deal with this threat.
So is this what kind of a move?
This is him closing the gap and then trying to basically just unload a bunch of punches and kicks.
We do some phrasing on that one?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Well, so the question is, what kind of a move is this? Are you going toe to toe with her, with all you got?
So if I can, I would like to hit with all I've got, but I could definitely see needing to go toe to toe because I don't really have that great of a position.
So I'm thinking about this in my head. We could also call this a change the game, and here's why it's a change the game, right? Because here's why it possibly could be a change the game. You could be, by kind of pushing off the wall with all your momentum, you could be setting yourself or somebody else up for an opportunity to for a better position to attack her. Because right now she's got her back turned to both Gephardt and Flora, who are entranced or charmed, but they are not. They are not without their own free will. They're under the influence, but they can still take action if they want. And then there's Malcolm as well. So you could just hit her, or you could try to set up a situation that you or somebody else takes a better shot at her.
I see where you're going, and I feel like where JP is at right now, it feels more like hit with all you've got or go toe to toe.
Okay, fair enough. So in this particular case, then it's going to be go to toe to toe.
Awesome. All right, let's collect some tags here. So before we get started, I want to invoke a weakness on myself. Because I doubt I'm going to get a chance to use this anytime soon, which is if you aren't behind me, I can't protect you. And what that basically means, it's part of my super strength. Basically, your Gephardt and Flora are in the collateral zone if they are in front of me.
Really? Okay.
Basically, yeah, that's the main factor of this weakness tag is essentially supposed to be like, you got to stay behind JP. If you want to be safe. But my themes I'm going to use, so I'd like to use Body Like a Mountain, High Flying Leaps, Supernatural Strength, Martial Arts, I guess I could do martial arts and striking, right?
You could do martial arts and striking.
All right, cool. So I'll do that.
Okay, so first things first, because you invoked the weakness tag, remember to mark it as attention on your theme book.
Oh, I just maxed out attention.
Okay, so that's an evolution point. We'll deal with that after this combat situation.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So why don't you go ahead and roll it?
Cool. All right, I got power 4. Rolling it up.
Did you add the weakness?
Yeah, so I had 5.
Okay.
I had
All right.
Body Like a Mountain, High Flying Leap, Supernatural Strength, Martial Arts, Striking. This is really in my wheelhouse, what I'm doing right now.
right.
Yeah, so I choose one, right?
You choose one of those.
I would like to get them good.
You want to get them good with inflicting a status of 4, right?
Yeah, so what I think this looks like is JP closes the distance much faster than she can anticipate, and as opposed to acting in a way such that he would be protecting himself, it's very clear that he's just trying to end this fight as quickly as possible to try to reduce any collateral damage. That's his thinking, at least. And yeah, he just throws as many punches and kicks as he can to hit her as hard as he can before she starts to hit him back.
Okay. So, describe to me how you come at her and hit her, and then I will describe what happens.
Yeah. So he plants off the wall and essentially does a GSP style Superman punch, but since he has super strength, he can really do it more so than a normal human being can. And so essentially he's just using the momentum off of it to close the distance and throw a strike, and then he'll follow up after that with everything he's got. But it sounds like she's going to counteract that in some way.
Well, how do I begin with this? As you do, and this blow kind of comes in and you come flying at her, she begins to sidestep, right? And the blow kind of glances on her. And so you hit her and you connect, but your tier 4 status, whatever the wound that you take, immediately gets reduced by 3. And she takes a bruised status 1. But because you didn't choose block, dodge, or counter their best attempt, she then comes around with her hand as she's turning and she claws you. And you're going to take wounded status 3.
Ooh, that's bad. Okay, cool.
So, Johnny, at the
Yes,
sign
sir.
of actual danger, is there a way I can try to shake this charm?
As we talked about off screen, and I believe Flora was looking into this as well, it's a change the game.
Okay. Then yeah, at the sign of actual danger, I think that's what Malcolm would do. Before this was all fun and games, and then later it looks like a dragon, but now that, JP's bleeding. I think that would kind of snap him out of it a little bit, so I'm going to attempt that. real quick.
Okay, so he's not just bleeding. He's wounded. Like, the
Yeah.
claws kind of dug in, and it just kind of scrapes along him. So it's probably either on his side or on his back. But he is, I mean, it's obvious that he is really hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen Malcolm fight with fake ninjas and a pretend sword and pantsing people, though. So this is a different kind of combat for him. So I think that might shake it out of him. I don't know what to roll for this. I don't think any of these would apply. I think I will invoke a negative, a weakness tag though. Stress and negative emotions.
Okay, well, hold on a second. Let me look at your character sheet again, because I do think there's a couple things that might apply here.
So this is clearly not a game. So everything in the game is not here.
Oh, well, hold on a second. Depending upon how you execute this attack.
So he's not attacking. I think he's just trying to he's afraid.
Oh.
Like this is the first time Malcolm's shown fear, and the fear that JP is wounded and bleeding, and the fact that she's taking Mr. G and Scary Lady, that shakes him. Like first he was charmed and was like, oh, this lady's okay. She just wants to hang out with us, and now it's very much apparent she does not.
Okay. Are you sure something like clap if you believe doesn't apply here? Because even though he's afraid, he's gotten himself out of situations before. It seems like, and I may be reaching here, it may be the only one that seems to me to apply, but
yeah.
if you don't feel like it applies, then I'm fine with that.
No, I don't think so. I think I'm eating shit on this one, because I have a -2 to charmed, so this is a roll at -3, which means I don't think I can succeed at all, but I'm going to roll it anyway. I don't think that one, like, insatiable curiosity might fit, I guess, but I think he's more afraid than anything else at this moment.
Yeah, I don't think curiosity applies when you're that afraid.
Yep. So I'm gonna change the game. Yeah, no, total fail. So I think that's it. He sees this and he locks up. And this is the first time you've ever seen Malcolm not be the fun. Let's all have a blast and let's make this into a game. And if you like are wounded, and you look to him, you just see him staring at this lady and at you, just in complete shock and panic, like the shock and panic of like a child. And that's it. He's frozen in fear.
Okay, so this also means that I run a hard move against you.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I'm a little... I'm either going to do one of two things, and I'm going to leave it to the table, because this is the kind of situation where this is the first time where you guys are facing something really powerful, and she already has you under her spell. You've already charmed, right? So, on one hand, she could just try to execute, or almost like her ability to charm or influence or do whatever. That could, trigger again, and you could get another status for that.
Okay.
Right? You could just take another status. Well, or you could gain a new status, which is petrified. Or, so not petrified, uncertain. It would be like a status 1, uncertain.
I think that makes more sense, personally.
I agree. It's not going to have... No, I know what's going to happen. Instead of it, because the status is the influence is a temporary status, the charmed, this is going to prolong the effect.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Right, because instead of it being just like something new, it's going to extend it. It's going to be more difficult for you to remove it. So
does does it stay at 2 or does it become a 3?
It stays a 2, but it becomes prolonged.
Okay.
All right, Gephardt, Flora, you're seeing this kind of going through, and as she turns, her wings kind of just come back in, and you see JP kind of glance off of her and kind of glancing blow, and she takes a little bit of a bruise, and it's really hard to see on her skin. Her skin darkens. It's already changing a darker color, but it darkens even more. But you can see that she's kind of swiped out and attacked JP, and he is clearly bleeding and wounded. Like it's a big gash on him.
unless you have something to do, Mr. G, I'm gonna try to change the game. Unless you wanna go.
I have someone coming.
It'll be along shortly.
You wish. Anyways, what do you want to do to change the game, Flora?
I would like to use. I don't know if this is something I can do. I guess I'll describe it and we'll see. One of my personality traits based on an item that I have, which is one of my tags. I have a bullshit detector, and I think that this facade of her wanting to hang out with, the illusion that I'm under right now, the illusion that I'm seeing, and then seeing a friend be hurt, would kind of start to be like, nope. Like, you're around dead bodies all day and you see all of this, you have some type of an inkling that something's not right. So I'm more so going to try to snap out of it just based on her background and how she would handle these situations. I don't know how that would work with the power tag, but... I wanna like, fight back, pretty much. Try to somewhat snap out of it and get her away from the group. Another thing that she has is meat shield.
Right,
so she's
but
willing to take any hits. She sees someone get hit and she's like, nope. And
right, so this is you having a fight or flight situation that's more basic than the charm or the entranced effect that's on you, right? And so that would be the way to kind of like you all of a sudden your primal nature wants to fight.
yeah.
Okay. So with that in mind, yeah, absolutely. So what power tags are we going with again? And then you're gonna do a face of danger you're gonna do a change the game. And what power tags are you throwing against this?
So bullshit detector, meat shield. The way she sees it, JP is very badly injured from one hit from what she saw. So I would apply can't die already dead because she's the person that should be taking the hits. Dead of night. And I think
how does bullshit detector work in this case?
She could tell when one of her personality traits is that she can tell when people are lying just based on her work with the police and work on investigations and.
Right, but how does that apply to this particular case where it's not a situation where you're dealing with like a social or...
Yeah, she's not lying to you.
She's not lying.
Nobody's
She
lying
really
to you.
wants to.
Yeah, she didn't lie at all. She said, "You're mine. You're coming with me," and then you were like, "Okay." And you
the way
did.
I see it is, it's a lie of the type of person she is because she was kind and come with me, and then it's a deception of personality more than anything.
She's
That
not
doesn't
hiding.
work.
She's not hiding her essential nature. She's a succubus.
Yeah, I meant for when we saw her downstairs and between then and now. But yeah, okay.
she's
Then
still
I
not-
would take that out
She's still
then.
not- yeah, she's not hiding her nature.
Yeah, she was pissed when we saw her downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she
well,
wasn't
you guys are
pissed.
still technically downstairs. She's trying to get you up the stairs.
We're halfway up the stairs, I think, because trying to get upstairs.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah, I
what
would
is it?
say meat shield, can't die already dead, and then
Dead of night.
dead of night.
All right. Remember that you have the entranced tier status 3 on you, so that they balance out.
Yeah, so I'm just not gonna mark anything when I roll this.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Mild success.
Okay.
All right.
And then
So
let me grab the change the game thing so I can see it. Okay.
That's not right.
that is not right.
Yeah, you rolled a 7. No power tags.
Oh,
Or
I
it'd
didn't-
be
Sorry.
3 power tags.
I didn't take that off. Sorry. So it's a 7.
It's okay.
Same result.
You still don't get any juice though.
That's fine.
So what that means is that if you had rolled a great success, it would have been a minimum of 1, and you would have had the ability to reduce the tag or do something else.
No, she gets 3 juice.
No, she doesn't.
She used 3 power
7 to
tags.
9.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so it's
You're right,
plus
you're right.
power. Yeah, so she used 3
Yeah,
power tags.
right.
That affects
So
the ultimate roll.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
JP
But then-
or Sam, what do you?
My
What do you say?
confusion is because then wouldn't that mean that, like, if I invoke a weakness, I'm still hitting? Like, if I use 5 power tags and invoke a weakness, then I'm not hitting for a tier 5 hit. I'm pretty sure the total power is what you have after, like at the end, after all the power tags are totaled. Otherwise, I feel like the whole point of the trading statuses is it makes it harder to affect the world around you.
Yeah, roll it again. So on the top of your screen, the top right corner of your character sheet, put -3 in the negative status, and then click all the buttons that you're supposed to use for your power tags, and then roll it again, and we'll just use the original result, just to see how it works in this character sheet.
That was way too fast. I did the -3.
Yep, so negative status would be 3. And then click all the different roll things you're going to use, all the power tags, and then roll it again.
I'm confused.
I'm just going to try to look up the rule.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea right now.
Yeah, because it made mine -3, and I had -3. So yeah, it would be 0 power.
You mean put, like, check next to roll?
Yes.
Okay, on all the ones that I'm using?
Yes.
Okay. That's...
Yep.
Okay. And then 0 for positive status.
Yep, and 3 for negative status.
Yep.
Yeah. So it would have been a 0.
Right.
So she would have rolled a 7 in the first one.
She would have rolled a 7. She didn't fail, so there's not going to be a hard move against you. So you're struggling. You're trying to shake this. You can't shake it. You can't change the effect. You can't change what's going on with you right now. You can't break out of it. But your situation hasn't gotten any worse. That struggle is going on, and you can make that attempt again when the spotlight kind of comes back around to you. Right.
Okay.
So it's Gephardt.
Okay, so Gephardt is ensorcelled or charmed too, but before all of this went down, JP was able to throw out the early warning sensor of the wooden hummingbird that was a draw or a lure for Gephardt's son to come running should they need any type of help.
Right.
Now, that means that his son's coming, so
Phrasing.
his son is on his way. And how would you like me to play that, Johnny? Since it's technically not a roll, since we already established it narratively before the action took place.
Well, he can definitely start his way in. That's not what I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about him busting his way through Cal's building and basically demolishing it. I mean, that's really what you're going to see is that your son is going to start demolishing Cal's building, and I feel really bad for Cal actually. Siobhan,
Well, it's glass front. It's a glass front, so he's just gonna into the lobby.
But
Into the lobby.
he's not here yet.
Okay.
What does Gephardt want to do?
Okay, so he's not here yet. Gephardt's going to try to do the same thing. He's going to try to shake free of what has occurred here. He is going to... I'm going to roll the same thing I tried before. Blackmail, falsehoods, the nose grows, and lies yet untold. Because no matter how you put it, this charm effect isn't the truth. It is a falsehood that has been laid on top of Gephardt for him to believe.
There is no falsehood here in that respect. She is not lying to you. She is not diminishing. She is not doing anything but representing her essential nature.
The only reason I would argue against that, and it's just because it's related, and you're probably right, but the only reason that I feel that's wrong, and I agree with him, is because it's a lie to us that we would want to go with her and that we would go along with us. It's a lie against our true nature. Like, I'm not going to go with this bitch upstairs. I don't even like half these people. I'm just starting to finally like these people. I don't want to go upstairs with this lady.
Right, but so here's the thing about, going against your true nature. That's the point of the charm, or that's the point of the influence.
But that's where I say that's a lie, because it's a lie to what we actually... It's making a lie that we want to go with her. Like, you want to come with me, and it's a suggestive thing where we're like, no, we don't. That's the only reason I would...
You just said it just right. It's a suggestive thing. It's her influencing you. It's not her lying to you.
I would say for JP, Yes, 100%. I agree with both Ginge and Greg. But because you are both currently charmed, you want to go with her. That's the effect of the charm, is that you do want to go with her. So it's not against your nature, because your nature is currently affected by her in that you want to do what she says.
Yeah.
It's definitely not cool, but it's probably not lying.
Yeah. Like, you guys are okay with it. She slipped you over.
Okay, well, I wouldn't honestly have anything that I could use against this then. So I have a tier 2, which means that my normal, I just take a -2 and try to see whatever the hell I get.
Wait a minute. That's the only power tag that you think applies here? Really?
Yeah. To walk away from this?
Lies Untold really is the only one that you have? Okay, all right, well.
Don't you
I
have
said
any
that-
tags about being like mean or like liking your family or anything?
No.
Well,
All right, you know what? I'm going to invoke your son, Pinocchio.
Well, that's what I was asking. If he was here, I could use him.
No, but here's why I'm going to invoke it. Your confidence in that experience, in that construct, coming for you, gives you a little bit of an opportunity to kind of counterbalance the charmed effect. Much in the same way that Flora's essential nature has to do with the fact that she believes, she believes all the things about herself, about being undead, being, shit, hold on, let me just use her tags about that again, right? The meat shield, can't die, already dead, dead of night. Those elements in this situation don't necessarily apply to the physical act of fighting. They apply to her emotional belief state. So your belief about your son coming for you is is how that power tag is gonna apply.
Okay, so my only confusion with that is Gephardt doesn't know he's coming, because this was done after he was charmed, and
JP
didn't make that happen in front of you guys.
No, she started leading up the stairs. He
Okay.
threw the bird.
Fair point.
that's why I was saying if he was in play, I would have used him, but he's not there. I don't know he's coming. He's going to show up. So
Right. Okay, all right, then yeah, that completely makes sense then.
sounds like you want to fail.
if you can figure out something for me to use, let me know. I read the rules. I'm getting ready. I'm the brand new Grimjack this week, trying to figure out.
He opened the book, guys.
You're brand new?
I did. Okay, so it's changed the game. -2 status. Pachow! What do you know?
Whoops.
See? You nailed it.
I'm playing by the rules, man. Rules.
The effect is prolonged on you. So the charmed
After I
effect.
saw that picture, that's fine with me.
Oh, good part. How long has it
Told
been?
you it matters.
I've been out of the way for how long now?
It's been a while. His family's
I'm
been
What have
gone.
you been doing with your wood?
I can feel it down in my plums. Gonna take those plums to market. Gonna take them to the farmer's market. Special 2 plum for 1 cent.
on podcasts. This gets edited.
No,
Why would we ever edit anything like this out?
I
This
don't
is
know.
this
This goes
is
in
the
the
flavor of the show,
blooper
right?
reels at the end.
Okay, so the effect is prolonged for you as well as you begin to have that fight or flight kind of that fight response. You feel it kind of well up, and then you look at her again, and you're not so unhappy about this. As we find JP kind of on the ground, having been just clawed.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. And she looked totally unfazed by my hitting her.
She looks bruised.
Okay. Oh boy. And
Now, granted, I'm giving you an opportunity to do something before she takes an action. I just
Yeah,
want
yeah.
you to know that.
I'm just trying to clarify the space here for a second. Does Malcolm still look basically catatonic?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to position myself between Malcolm and her as much as I can, even at risk to myself. And I'm imagining that he's like still like trying to slip her slashes and like is like throwing counters. But he's really basically going to try to like tie her up and fight defensively until he can get himself between her and Malcolm. And then he will probably take a risk and try to go for like a big head kick or something. He's trying to just end this. He knows he's bleeding out.
All right. Again, before she's taking any action, you've got an opportunity here, and you just described how you would handle the fight, but take an action. Make
so
a move.
So you want me to actually say the move that I'm doing? Gotcha.
Right. I'm giving you an opportunity to kind of step in because this is the situation where, I mean, I hate to say this, but in some ways, right now, it looks like it's heading towards a TPK.
Sure. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I want to roll change the game.
Okay.
And what I want to attempt to do is JP. This is a many-story building, right?
This is a 2-story building, I believe. Cal could probably answer that question specifically, but I think based on the description from the original one-shot that we did, it was a 2-story building.
All right. So what JP is going to attempt to do is he's going to attempt to grab her and jump and pull her up through the roof so they're on the next floor up so his friends are safer. So his friends can get away. So I want to do a change the game.
Okay.
This is going to be really hard, guys. I'm going to have to... Oh, wait.
You try that again. You might want to try that again.
I start with the -3. Power tags, body like a mountain, because it doesn't matter if I crash through the ceiling, but it might if she does. High flying leaps, supernatural strength, acrobatics, can I argue defiant charge simply for the reason that you said that we're looking at a TPK? Trying to sacrifice myself, essentially. Or
Yeah,
maybe-
but I'm going to invoke Knave.
Naive, yeah. All right.
Or Naive. Every time I do that, it's... yes, I'm going to invoke Naive. Or even potentially... Well, no, Naive would be great.
All right. So right now I'm looking at Power 0, which is not going to do it for us, guys. How about Will of Iron? I'm injured. I'm still fighting.
Okay, let me look at your sheet again. Hold on.
Like, if anyone's suited for this, it's fucking JP.
I would actually disagree, but if anyone's suited for to go to toe-to-toe fight with her, probably Flora right now.
Shh.
But she's under the influence, so. You said okay, so high flying leap, body like a mountain, supernatural strength. We're doing naive.
Defiant charge and supernatural strength are in the same box because there wasn't room for a fourth for that theme book. I have 2 weaknesses and 4 for that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you Will of Iron. Cool. I think it's the. I mean, I think it's really the. I mean, there's a lot. Cool. There's a lot going on here.
All right, total power 2, guys. We got a chance. We got a chance. Change the game.
All right, so great success. You get 3. I'm just gonna remind you of something though. Before we get too much farther into this fight, you could have also just burned your power tag. One of them.
Yeah.
And
then it would just be rolling at power 3, period.
Exactly. Right. It would be power 3, and it would be an automatic success.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty good idea, but
I'm just giving you some insight into how to push this. Or
no, you're absolutely right. I should have done that.
If you were Morrigan, you would have gone, with stop holding back, and then completely devastated this particular thing.
I'm gonna wait to do stop. I specifically chose not to do stop holding back because my friends are in the destruction zone. So I don't know if this is a tag or I'm creating a location, or I'm changing location. So like second story, I guess.
Okay.
Or roof, maybe, whatever you think is more appropriate.
No, it's going to be second story.
Okay. Now I have
Okay, wait a minute. Let's take a step back. Let's talk. You've got 3 juice to spend. What are you doing here? So is the story tag one that you've elevated her, or are you giving her a status that she's?
Do I have 2 or 3?
You have 3 because it's a great success. The first one counts as 2 because it's a minimum of 2 based on a great success.
Got it.
And then you have 1 additional one. So.
Got it. Okay, so the first juice is spent on changing the location.
Okay, so second floor. So you've changed the location. You are now on the second floor.
Correct. And then I would like to inflict a tier 2 status of dazed for getting smashed through a roof. I don't think it's really appropriate to be able to heal myself by jumping through a ceiling. Otherwise, I would have tried to do that.
Okay, well, wait a minute. So here's... All right, this is where a rule question... I think there's a bit of a rule discussion that has to happen here. And I hate doing this on screen, but she's got something called... She's got an ability, or an element of her danger that is called invincible, and it's a -3 to any status effects that she takes. So already, if you spend 2 status on it, it's going to get negated.
Okay, so I basically can't hurt her until I hit with 3 or greater.
Until you hit greater than 3.
Gotcha.
Okay, so I may have made this danger a little bit stronger than you guys were ready for. But
No, it's fine.
she's just 1.
So that's totally fine. But what I would suggest for you, Sam, is that there are other things like you can burn one of their tags.
That's what I was gonna say. Is can I burn her invincible tag? I.e., like, she's been hit enough by JP's super strength that, like, she just can't keep getting hit like this.
If you want like a sweet narrative description, it's like she's succubuses out, right, and like wings and claws, and then he grabs her and reverse pile drives her through the ceiling, hitting her on the head. So she kind of blinks, and like her wings and claws begin to slowly retract, and that gives him maybe a temporary status effect of burned. That's why the tag's burned.
Wouldn't that take 4, though? Wouldn't you have to use all 4 on it? Because it would burn the first 3.
No, it burns the whole tag, just like if you burn your tag on your character sheet.
It says
No,
spend 1. It says spend 1 for 1 and burn a tag. I don't know. Oh wait, no, it's burn a player character's tag. Sorry.
Oh shit!
It's been too long since I played this game.
You're right.
Oh, man, I don't even know then.
You can keep the juice for later.
Yeah, I'll save the 2 juice. That's what I'll do.
Okay.
That's right. I always forget you can save it.
How much can you stack for juice?
Anything.
How much room do your kitchen do you have? Or your sorry, I was gonna make
So everything you create
I got
in
a
a
brand new
scene,
fridge, a lot of juice.
everything you create in a scene stays in the scene. So any temporary tags, any juice, it stays in this scene, and then once you leave the scene, I think it ends.
So just stack to like 10 juice and then beat the shit out of her.
So I need to start enforcing that. I was bad about enforcing that. Thank you for that reminder. So it has to be on the scene. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're stacking that, or you're
banking it.
You're banking it. So when you do this and you change the floor that you're on, she then, as you kind of grab her, she also grabs into you, and so you're going to have to face danger. Otherwise, you're going to take more wounds.
Okay, good.
You grab her and you jump, right? That's what you're doing. You're grabbing her and jumping. or did you hit her up?
No, I'm full on trying to grab her and like smash her up into the reverse pile driver is the perfect way. So yeah, she could
Right. So you grab her, and you do that, and you take her to that second floor, and you guys hit the ceiling, and you begin to fall down. But as she's doing that, she grabs into you, like she holds on tight. So you were going to have to face danger here.
Okay. This is definitely where
I see a lot of power tags that can apply.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to decide which one I can afford to burn.
Well, if you're going to burn, then it's a discussion because I only see two that I think are represent burn.
So, before you do anything, there has been 2 donations from one McLogan. The first one is Heal JP. So normally with D&D style rules, it's a 1d10. That's not applicable for this system. Johnny, I think 1 status tier.
How much is the donation?
$5. I think with how difficult it is to heal yourself normally, I think one tier is decent. And then there's another crit. While you're thinking about that, there's another donation for a crit. So a great success to one Miss Flora.
Sounds like Change the Game is back on the menu, boys. All right, so yes, reduced status of 1. So wounded to bloody status 2 to JP, and you can thank McLogan for that.
Thank you.
But I will say you definitely have to figure out how you did that.
I think this is like as JP is getting into the fight, we're seeing like more and more of his mythos come out. And like his power tag body like a mountain is not really meant to be about it's technically a physical invulnerability, but it's more like extreme toughness than that like you can't like do damage to him, if that makes sense. So it's like you can take chips out of the mountain, but it just doesn't really matter in the long term, as opposed to like someone like Flora who just like can't really be hurt by physical attacks. And so I think like as his mythos comes out of him more and more, we start to see like the innate toughness of his body like responding, and he's just like he's healing a little bit quicker, he's responding a little bit quicker, everything hurts him a little bit less. And you know, we see him getting into this adrenaline filled mode. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of why the mythos was attracted to JP in the first place.
Gross.
I like it.
So I'm going to go ahead and just do a bunch of tags. So body like a mountain, high flying leaps because I'm in the middle of a high flying leap. Supernatural strength.
So you're not gonna burn a tag here?
No, I'm just gonna roll normally.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Yep, no worries. Question: she's trying to like slash at me while I'm doing this, right?
No. You grabbed her.
Me.
You reverse pile drive. You took her up, and so what she did was grabbed onto you and dug in her claws to hold
Got
on.
it. All right, so can I argue martial arts because I know how to grab my opponent such that it's very much more difficult to get an efficient grab on him?
On her?
What I'm saying is JP knows how to grab an opponent and grapple with them such that it makes it more difficult for them to grab onto him in response.
All right. You can argue martial arts.
And then acrobatics is the second one because, again, I'm in the air. No? All right.
It's gonna negate because she's got wings.
Yep. That's all I got.
And before you do that, if you aren't behind me, I can't protect you.
But they're below me. They're out of the way.
If you aren't behind me, I can't protect you.
She could fall back down.
Right. I'll give it to you. I feel like that was the point of to change the game, but okay.
But you already punched her through the ceiling. You could punch her back down.
You already took her to the ceiling. You're not protecting anybody anymore. You've changed the situation such that it's a level playing field right now.
Sure.
What if you
Fine.
jump up and turn her? You like how-
Let us do a dance.
That's not
Oh
good.
shit. TPK's
That's
back on the menu.
She grips into you as your healing is beginning to kind of do its thing. As the wounded becomes bloody, her claws kind of dig into you as she's kind of grabbing you, and they dig into your shoulders, and you scream out in pain. And she throws you back towards the wall. And she's just kind of hovering there, just kind of admiring you for a second. And you can see this bloodthirsty sort of like grin on her as she is just ready to move in for her attack.
Good.
What are you doing, JP?
Did I?
Let me ask you this. Let me ask the rest of the party the question real quick. Situation has changed. Statuses haven't changed. Situation has changed. Does anybody want to try to do something besides Flora? Because I know what she's going to do.
I have something I want to do, but I'm going to let everyone else go.
Gephardt, do you want to do anything again before Flora breaks out of her stranglehold?
Has my son arrived?
It hasn't been enough time. So
This has been probably a few moments. Like,
Yeah, it's been a few seconds.
This is narratively not very long at all, right? He's coming. Sorry.
Sorry.
He's on his way, but he's not there yet.
Then
Still phrasing.
realistically, there isn't anything I can do other than make another roll that I've already made. Unless
Okay.
someone narratively, I'm narratively,
No, you're
you could run.
I can't. She does.
You can.
My friend.
You can run.
you can run.
walk
You can
away.
try to run. You could try to do something. Again, you have free will here.
Well, that's what I mean. I could try to do what I did before. I could try to break it, but I'm going to still have a -2.
So
and-
you're just in a suggestive state right now. So like she said, "Come with me," and you were like, "Okay." Clearly, she's not saying that anymore. Like Malcolm is also is literally in the same state as you are, but he didn't go with her when she said go away, right? So you can still do your own thing. It's just if she makes a suggestion, you're more likely to do that thing. She currently isn't suggesting anything to you though. You're just standing there chilling.
Check the donations first before you decide if you want to do anything.
Oh no! Auto success to Malcolm, Gephardt, and JP. So there was another great success donated to each of you.
Hooray!
Okay, so I would like to stop
I
this
just,
from
I
happening.
just have to say this right now. $3 for a crit. It's too cheap. It's too cheap. But anyways, go.
Okay, so I would like to not be ensorcelled anymore. Status 4, okie dokie.
Well, you'd still have. I mean, even with a great success, you would need like 8 power tags to get to that.
I'm joking. I still want to be.
I was like,
Well, no. What I'm trying to.
Maybe lower the ensorcelled with that.
He definitely can reduce the charms, right? Because so there are 3 things going on here. There are 2 things going on here. There's a tier 2 status on him of charmed,
Try to take that to 1.
and then to
Like,
0.
I can take it down 2.
You can take it down 2 by spending 2 juice, but there's also the prolonged tag. So you with a crit, with an automatic success, it's basically a great success for change the game. You can basically reduce it to 0, and you're back to Gephardt.
Okay, so I go from charmed to mildly intrigued to grumpy old man. So I'm back to where I was.
You're grumpy old man. You're absolutely. You're not prolonged charms. You're just grumpy old man.
Tier 0, grumpy old man.
So wait a minute. Will Walter Matthau or Jack Lemmon be playing you?
Walter Matthau.
Not that. That
All
one's
right.
good. No, it's math now. Okay, so I'm back. I'm back in the game. Okay, if I have a chance, I see that he just burst up through the ceiling, correct?
You do see that, but go ahead.
Okay, being a building inspector and knowing that no building is made entirely of, there has to be some type of stud work done in here. Is there wood now exposed after the bursting from one floor to the next?
It's all the same fake corkboard material. The entire
The whole
building.
building is
Never
made
would
of.
have passed code, that Malaysian shit would have fallen over a long time ago.
Phrasing, number one, phrasing. And number two, yes. So think about your action because you just took your change the game to break out of it with your automatic success. So think about what you're going to do next.
Oh, okay. So I'm done then.
Yeah.
I'm looking for wood.
Since that happened, I'm going to, instead of going to Malcolm like I was originally planning to before we get the great and powerful Flora breaking, we're just going to let Flora break out. We're
I
going to let
didn't
Flora
say I
break-
was gonna do that with mine, did I?
Oh, okay. Well, what are you going to do, Flora, with your great and powerful crit?
I'm gonna try to change the game again. No, I'm saving that crit to wreck this bitch's face when I get up there. I want to get out of on my own. God damn it!
Okay.
I'm gonna try again.
All right. That sounds great.
I'm not in danger right now, so I'm gonna save that crit for when I feel safe down here. JP's not doing great, but
I'm fine.
Okay.
it'll be fine.
So it seems like the same 3 power attacks kind of apply here. Right. Can't die, meat shield, dead of night, and you've got the negative entranced status 3 on you. So you could burn a power tag and get out of this situation without using that crit. I mean, and you could burn. Yeah, I mean, things that I would suggest maybe burning is maybe meat shield or dead of night. I mean, because can't die already dead. You burn that one.
I'm fucked.
Yeah. Narratively, I'm going to do something interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of meat shield. I'm gonna burn it.
All right, excellent. So,
Dead of
This
Night is
one-
so good because it's always night when we fucking play. I gotta keep it.
describe to us what goes through Flora's like mental state. What is the narrative description of her, kind of shaking this entranced 3?
She's watching all of the chaos around her unfold, and at first it goes back to her basic training of, be alert, look for attention to detail, not everything is as it seems, things like that, that she uses in her everyday job. But then there's something, she doesn't quite know what it is, and she starts to have this attitude change of, I've been helpless in a situation before, I can't remember when it was a long time ago, but I'm not gonna let someone manipulate me anymore.
Okay.
Like someone close to her. And with that, she's like, I'm not gonna be a victim. I've come this far, type deal.
Okay.
So, you want me to roll it? -3 status?
No. If you burn your power tag, it's an automatic success.
Yeah, you don't roll. It's just a
So,
10 plus.
So when she does that, she's gonna try to break out and then try to help.
Okay, so because you burned a power tag and you're doing a change the game, you get an automatic 3. It counts as an automatic 3 power, so you have 3 juice to spend.
Okay. So
You
for change,
can-
sorry.
Go ahead. So what I would suggest is there's one of a couple things you can do. You can reduce the status, the tier 3 status of entranced by 3 by spending those 3 juice, or you can reduce it somewhat and take some other action based on the other elements available to you in the change the game.
I was gonna say, give her a status,
All right. So she's
a level 1 status.
okay. She is out of. She's not in your sight, so you're going to need to describe something narratively that makes sense that would allow you to inflict a status on her.
I think she just starts laughing because she's out of her goddamn mind. She's super intrigued by this person and is, she's not necessarily afraid because she doesn't feel like anything can, touch her, whether that's true or not. And when she, you hear this laughter, and she looks over to the rest of the group, and she'll look up. And she just is, she's still in a suggestive state, right? It's still level 1.
Well, so you've reduced it by 2, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to know what the first one's called.
So if you're reducing it from true, so entranced is 3, charmed is 2. I would say that a tier status 1 would probably be more descriptive as suggestive. Sure, Greg. Sure. Why don't we just call it that?
So I'm gonna call her tier 1 distracted, Greg.
Distracted.
Flora's gonna be tier 1 distracted?
No, I would say hers is probably.
Well, hold on a second. We're still dealing with the reduction of your status. That's what I'm trying to get to before.
I can't think of the word.
All right, so we're gonna
suggestible, I guess.
Sure,
Lightly suggestible.
Suggestible. So it's gonna be suggestible 1. So you've spent 2 juice there, and then the third juice that you're going for is you're going for
tier 1 distracted.
Oh, we already established you can't do that though, because she has a tier 3 blocking ability.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what we just did with JP's move.
Okay.
Well, hold on a second. JP's move was physical though.
Mine's gonna be
That's
mental.
up to you.
Yeah, it's going to be psychological. So I think it can apply here.
Sure.
But instead of distracted, I think it's going to be curious.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't think of the right word, but yeah.
Enough, Gephardt. Enough. Enough. Trying to focus here. Let me focus here, okay? I need to focus. I need my status to continue to increase in focus. All right, so it's going to be curious. It's tier 1's curious on her. All right, Malcolm, would you like to make a move?
I really do, but I really think it's going to end everything, and I don't want to do that again.
Describe it and let's talk about it.
I want to stop holding back.
And do what?
So I want to stop holding back and burn a tag.
That's not how it works. You just do the thing with stop holding back.
Stop holding back is a roll.
But it's just with the logos. It's not with power tags.
Hold on a second.
That's worth asking.
Yeah, if you look in the book under burning tags, it says you unleash your mythical power and burn out. C, stop holding back.
So you still do have to make a roll. But
yes,
you need to. So here's the thing about stop holding back, and we did this, I believe, last 2 weeks ago on Speedy's show. You describe what you're going to do, then I describe the severity or the scale of sacrifice that you're going to have to make.
Yep.
And then based on the roll, we'll determine what actually happens next.
Okay.
So why don't you describe what you want to do, and then we can talk scale.
Okay, cool. So my identity is no one else dies. And it looks from Malcolm's perspective that is likely to happen, that someone else is going to die. So this might be the first time you see Dark Malcolm. The tag I was going to burn is shadow manipulation. Malcolm's going to rage out and remove her shadow.
What do you mean? Okay, so what kind of an effect are you expecting when you remove her shadow?
I don't know.
That's the question that I need answered before I can determine the significance or the scale of which you're attempting.
Yeah, I mean, I think your shadow is like part of you, right? So it's like I don't want to call it like your soul, right? But it's like that's the kind of equivalent thing. Like when you remove someone's shadow, they are a fragment of who they were. Like you've severed a person in half. So ultimately, she would be a shell of her former self.
All right, I know exactly what would happen if that happened.
You're stealing her soul, dude. Oh my god, I hope it's you're stealing her mythos. That would be amazing.
So how does this play out?
We gotta figure out what the role is, right?
We have to figure out what the scale is. So, here's what. Okay, so if it basically is diminishing her in some significant way, I think ultimately what we're going to be dealing with here is if you tear her soul, you tear her shadow from her.
There's a good suggestion in chat. Is that you don't burn a tag, you burn the whole book.
Okay.
It depends on what your consequence and your role is.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
that's like part of the move.
Oh.
Let's be clear about this for a second. Let's talk about the tiers and
Sure.
the scale. Significant. If you succeed on a 7 or 9, you mark fade and crack on that theme book or on that logos. Then you also burn all of the power tags in that one theme book. On a 10 plus, you just mark fade or crack on that theme.
Oh.
That is the smallest scale. Next, no return is next.
Mm-hmm.
On a 7 or 9, replace one theme. On a 10 plus, mark fade or crack and burn all of the power tags on that theme. On an ultimate, and this is the highest level, on a 7 to 9, you are killed, destroyed, or transformed forever, quote unquote, for now. Take a tier 6 status. You cannot face danger. On a 10 plus, you replace one theme book.
Mm-hmm.
To me, and this is what I love about this particular move. It is meant to be as cinematic as fuck, and it's supposed to be the game changer, right? It's Aang in his full avatar state.
Mm-hmm.
When you rip her shadow from her, the effect that I'm envisioning, and we can talk about this, is that it's going to remove some of the stronger effects, some of her stronger, essentially power tags on her, or the descriptive text on her, right? Things like her ability to influence anybody, which means charm, which will remove the charm from you. It would also remove her ability to be invincible, to be invulnerable to attacks, and take such a reduced status.
Yeah, it tears away at her logos. Or her mythos, rather.
It tears away at some of her mythos.
Yeah.
Right. There are still elements of her mythos that are going to apply. But essentially, it will remove the stronger parts of her mythos.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to me, that seems a little bit more. That seems a little bit stronger than significant. Am I off base here?
That seems pretty up there.
So I was thinking no return, and my thinking was a little bit different. I wanted to see what you guys thought. My thinking was that for me, this represents a fundamental change in how Malcolm has used his mythos so far. We've seen him play a lot of pranks, mess with people, do some things that are semi-harmful, but not like, not something that is like truly definitively like ruining someone. Like this is him using his powers in like a truly malevolent way that can't be reversed. And we haven't seen him do that. Like we've seen him break someone's hand. We've seen him mess with people. We've seen him pants those guys, but we haven't really seen him like really truly go for the jugular. And this is the first time. I think that's significant.
All right. So that's him going for the jugular, but does it have the same effect like it did on her?
So it depends.
No.
So it depends on what you want the effect to be.
It's like no return is because I think it's like it is a significant point for his character, and it's like represents some portion of him surrendering to the mythos.
I agree entirely with Sam. My thing is if it's no return, some of her powers. If it's ultimate, he goes full, like he loses control is what this is, and he rips her logos off. That's like the shadow thing. That's what I would say would be ultimate. So if it's only a portion of that, I think that would be no return. But I think he's not giving himself to the mist. He's losing control.
Okay, here is where I am. Here is where the conflict in my head about going with from no return to ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
and it is based on the idea that I believe you're going to apply the crit to this. Is that correct?
I was going to burn a... I don't know. I guess so.
Well, burning a power tag in this particular case, you still have to roll. You still have to make a roll on this, as I understand it. It's not you can't burn a tag and just have it all done, or burn a theme book and be it all done, because that's a consequence if you fail. That to me seems like...
Don't you burn a tag and it acts as a great success? Isn't that how burning a tag works?
Yes.
Hold on, I found it definitively.
Oh, okay, cool.
Tags and statuses have no effect over this roll.
Oh, dope. There you go.
That's on 291.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so then no. I'm just going to roll this straight up.
Hold on a second. There's a question that I think the last time... This seems like a roll where I think we should probably house rule it from now on. But I'm going to let it apply if Meta ever gets back to us.
She didn't use her crit.
She didn't use her crit.
Nope.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I would say this is a no crit situation.
Yeah, this is going to be a house rule for all 3 games moving forward. Yeah, there's going to be no crits used. This is like a fortune roll back in Blades in the Dark Days. You just have to roll it.
Yep.
All right. So hold on, guys. Let's go back to the discussion about the scale of this. The only reason I am not interested in going to Ultimate is because I don't want to remove Malcolm completely from this scene at this point. Because I think that... No, screw it. It's Ultimate. Go for it.
Okay. So, but we agreed on what Ultimate is versus no. So the way I'm envisioning what this is that Malcolm loses complete control. He has no control over what he's doing. He knows he has to save them, but what happens after he goes full shadow, he has no control over that. He has no conscious effort in this, and his mythos takes over, and you see that dark side of him. So when he wakes up...
Right. So that mythos does what it does.
Yep.
And again, read the results of what Ultimate is.
Yeah.
If it goes 7 to 9, you're out of the scene.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're taking a tier 3 stat. You're taking a tier 6 status. You were out of the scene, and then we have to have a discussion about how Malcolm comes back.
Yeah, I think he might be out of the scene regardless, but that's totally fine. What does it
fail?
So what does it mean when it says on a 10 replace one theme? Is my question.
It means that you're going to lose one of your themes, and you're going to have to replace it.
Just any one of them?
Well, I think it's based on the one that you're focusing on, like the thing that you're doing to stop holding back, right? So in this particular case, let me pull up Malcolm's character sheet again. Sorry, I'm not as prepared about this as I should be. Where is it? The one that's no one else dies. Okay, so bad form would be burned completely. Like, it would be gone. You would have to
theme.
Yeah, you would have to replace that theme book. That's my understanding of what the scale of this is.
Huh. That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Why
Basically,
yeah, I mean, that would give him another Logos then. Or another Mythos, rather.
that's how it's supposed to work.
that is how it's supposed to work.
Okay.
Yeah, you either are like giving up a part of your power, thus you take another Logos theme book, or it's like you're more embracing your mythos, thus you take
Interesting.
another mythos
Okay,
theme book.
cool. Yeah, fuck it.
Hold on a second before you roll. Now, remember that if you fail this, you still pay the price of 7 to 9. And then there are other consequences that are going to come into play. If you
Fine.
succeed, I'm going to ask you to describe narratively what Malcolm does next when he stops holding back. You're going to go through all of this. And then I will describe what happens when Malcolm finally just succumbs to this circumstance, okay? That's going to be the way that this is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do it.
Fucking A.
Why did you roll it that way?
How else am I
Oh,
going to
that's
roll
right,
it?
because we don't have it. I believe it's on the sheet, isn't it?
No. There's no stop holding back on the sheet.
Correct.
That is right. Okay, great. Okay. All right. So,
I'm sweaty.
well, you still be sweaty.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I guess narratively, here's what happens: is I guess really the only one paying attention is Gephardt, which is probably the worst person to be paying attention. So you would see that Malcolm is in that catatonic state where he is like, so interesting. So in Malcolm's past, he has seen death before, and that's why his whole situation is no one else dies. His whole family has been taken away from him, and Mr. G and these two weirdos are the closest thing he has besides his friends back home. And so seeing Mr. G just doing what this crazy lady says, and this crazy lady is killing JP, he loses it. He loses control. So Mr. G would see him in this catatonic state, and then you would see all of the shadows in this dark building, which I'm sure there's quite a few of them, begin to move towards Malcolm and just completely cover him in darkness. You don't see the whites of his eyes, you see nothing, and Malcolm exists as a shadow, and they all spread back out, and then up the interior walls, and then up the ceiling, and then through the hole, and up, and then the shadow Malcolm actually flies through the hole, and JP, you would see this shadow person stand, kind of like one of the ninjas, grab Siobhan, pull her down, except when he pulls her down, it's another shadow form of her, and he throws it into the shadow, like the darkness on the ground, and it evaporates into the darkness, and you now have a Siobhan who's grabbing onto you, looking very confused, and like the whites of her eyes are just kind of like, she's like blinking, and then you just see all the shadow recess back to Malcolm, and then Malcolm standing in front of you, and he smiles and collapses.
You don't get taken out of the scene.
Well, that's an emotional thing. He's gonna collapse regardless if he's out or not.
You don't get taken out of the scene
Yeah,
yet,
that's fine.
because there's a change that happens.
Okay.
So first, when Siobhan loses her shadow, you see the actual physical form of the person that was this succubus, right? And as she falls, she kind of crumples to the ground. And then just in front of you is just a 40-something woman, very tired, very drained in some ways. And she looks diminished. She doesn't have the luster and shine of the state and the nature. And as those shadows begin to kind of move back into Malcolm, and they kind of come up on him, and he becomes this black form again. And as they kind of come away, a bit of him kind of shifts. And now his clothes have changed. They're all green. We're not wearing tights. But there are some things about it that just seem really strange, because it's all green and it's leafy and it's sort of almost rustic. And as he kind of collapses, Malcolm looks even younger. Almost as if he was a 12-year-old boy. And then he collapses. Now, the reason I described that is because I wanted to represent the fact of losing your logos.
Mm-hmm.
How you wake up and how you look is entirely up to you, but I wanted a stronger representation of your mythos to at least show itself. So, it's on you to figure out what you want to do next, but I think it's time for you to write a new mythos.
Mm-hmm.
And so, JP, as you're kind of looking at this and you're in pain, you get a moment to relax as you finally realize that Siobhan is down.
So she collapsed, right?
She's collapsed and she's passed out, and she's breathing heavy, and she's wearing the same clothes that she was before. But she doesn't have the luster. Her hair isn't as bright, as brilliant red as it was, and you can see a little bit more of the age on her face, and you can see in her form that she is a little bit more frail.
Sure. Yeah, so I think in the moment that we see her dropping, we see sort of JP go from the middle of this wild combat to like having it fade away, and so we see JP with his like glowing orange eyes. And they sort of fade, and for a minute we like maybe it almost looks like he has this kind of like feral like grimace, and it almost looks like he has like extended canines in this kind of bestial way, but that sort of all disappears and fades away as he kind of goes back to his normal self as she drops. And he's just going to check her pulse, and upon seeing she's okay, he's going to sling her over his shoulders and jump down the hole he made and look around, see Malcolm on the ground.
Oh, Malcolm's up there with you.
Oh! In that case, I leave her where she is and immediately run over to Malcolm.
Gephardt, Flora, you're free. Gephardt, your son comes crashing in through the front as this situation with Malcolm happens.
You're always late. Always. You're never early. You're never on time. You're always late.
And he looks so sad. Poor Pinocchio.
Yeah, he would just be, because he witnessed everything that Malcolm did in the transformation process. I'm sure he couldn't see what occurred through the hole up top, but when he would see JP come back down through the hole, minus Siobhan and with Malcolm in his arms, Gephardt just, as soon as he's kind of half joking towards the son, he would break into a run towards towards Malcolm. And as soon as he would get there, he would just immediately look at him and kind of cup, maybe even take him out of JP's arms, as he would just start almost rocking with him. Oh, my boy. Oh. And he's kind of holding him up with the head against his shoulders. He's rocking back and forth. And he would turn immediately to his wooden son and say, "Get us out of here." Not even looking at JP and Flora.
Flora's gonna go up to the roof.
Why to the roof?
Because that's where she is.
No, she's on the second floor.
Oh, she's gonna go upstairs.
And you go upstairs and you see a woman unconscious. You recognize the facial features, you recognize the form, but she is clearly diminished.
She's gonna call JP up.
Is Gephardt already leaving?
Yeah, he's the son is picking him up, taking both him and Malcolm and carrying him away.
Yeah, JP JP has a look on his face that we probably haven't seen before. Just this like grimace, and he's going to follow Gephardt and his son out. I think like as he's like leaving the building, we see him like for a minute stop and just like in a fit of rage punch a hole in like a wall or something next to him before he follows them out. He just ignores Flora. He's going after Malcolm.
And so they have exited the scene. Flora, she's there in front of you.
Is she conscious?
No, she's unconscious. She just had her soul.
Okay. She's going
basically
to drag her with her. It's an old, really scrawny lady. She could probably...
She's young.
Carry her with her.
Wait, so you're gonna pick her up, or are you just gonna drag her?
Oh no, she's dragging her, letting every head hit the step. Or letting her head hit every step. She doesn't care.
Horrible.
Taking this woman with her.
Okay, and where are you taking her?
Downstairs and tying her up.
Okay.
She's gonna wait for this woman to regain consciousness. And if I can, I want to use something in my coroner's kit. Because she would carry medical supplies and things like that as well. If she has smelling salts. She would let the woman, give her a while, but, check her pulse, check on her, and then give her smelling salts.
She is still not waking up.
Okay.
This isn't a normal sort of you've been knocked out kind of a situation.
Yeah.
She's her inherently because of the nature of who you are as Flora. The moment that the spelling salts don't work, given kind of what you saw, you would know that her physical form has been diminished, her soul has been shattered, and it's going to take her time to recover and come back.
Yeah, I just meant she was gonna wait there with her, and then when after checking her pulse and knowing general medical procedures, which is what you have to know when you do that line of work, she would just wait until the right time, even if it's all night.
All right. Well, you do wait all night because she doesn't wake up.
Okay.
She's diminished. She is out. She is gone. There's nothing there right now, and she's going to eventually wake up and recover. There's going to be a moment of that, but it's not going to be before the dawn. Just FYI.
Okay.
All right. So with Morgan with Morgan, fuck, with Flora just kind of watching over Siobhan in this state, we're going to cut back to Gephardt and Malcolm. Where is he taking you?
My son would be directly back to the workshop. That's the default. If there's a place to retreat to, it is the workshop.
Okay. And so, JP, are you just following along, trying to keep up with them?
Following along, trailing blood.
All right. So eventually, the three of you, end up back at the workshop, and Malcolm is still passed out. And the physical elements of what you saw, Gephardt, or what you see of Malcolm, those are slowly starting to fade, and his clothes are kind of coming back, and his form is coming back. But you can see elements of the younger Malcolm. And you can see elements of that still as it's slowly beginning to fade.
What would end up happening, and also so JP can be part of the scene, he would unzip the wall when they finally got there, but he would leave it open. He's so distraught at this point that he doesn't think enough to close it behind him. His son would go and sit in the corner, and he would bring Malcolm in and kind of sweep one of his work tables off to the side, and you would see elements hit the ground. A half-created animal of some kind that doesn't have a head yet would clatter to the ground as its tail is still wagging, and he would lay Malcolm on the and he'd be looking at him. And as JP would arrive, which I would assume would be pretty quickly because JP can leap tall buildings in a single bound and all that good stuff, right? As he would land and walk in, he would see that the left eye of Gephardt is that blue spotlight again. And it is running up and down as he looks at Malcolm to kind of ascertain damage or to see what's wrong. You would see that blue spotlight is kind of looking up and down Malcolm. And in that spotlight again, almost as if it's an old scrim from the 1800s, you would see this kind of a figure walking back and forth in shadow as it kind of dances over Malcolm's body. And as you walk in, Gephardt would be saying, "Yes, I know. I understand what happened." And he's having a conversation with someone that is not there, at least not to you.
Yeah. So when JP enters, he's sort of I think he approaches the table that Malcolm's on and kind of leans on it. His energy seems seep out of him. He's not really paying attention at all to the wound on his side. It's still dripping blood. As Gephardt's kind of talking to himself, JP just looks up at him, and I don't know if he even registers this, but JP will just go, I failed, Gephardt. I'm sorry. This is all my fault.
Gephardt would hear it, and as he is in doing all of this, he notices that JP has come in as soon as he starts to speak, and the light would recede back up into his left eye, and while the orb itself was still kind of glowing with a housed phosphorescent, like it's still inside glowing, it's not projecting that spotlight image anymore, and he would turn and look and blink several times.
Oh, boy, you saved us all. You didn't fail.
JP's just gonna look down at the ground. And he is just silent for a long moment. He looks up and he says, I promised, I promised you, I promised Flicker. I said I would protect him. I said I would protect all of you. It's my fault.
Gephardt will walk over, and even when your head was down, as soon as you would look up, you'd realize that Gephardt had closed the distance between the table and Malcolm and you, and he will drop a hand on your shoulder, and he says,
And you did just that, boy. He's alive. I'm alive. Flora is alive, and we would not be were it not for you.
and he squeezes it slightly.
How bad are you hurt, son?
I think JP just breaks down crying at this expression of kindness.
For a moment, Gephardt just has his hand on his shoulder, and Gephardt himself he stops and tilts his head as a voice is screaming in his mind, and against the left pupil there is a raging shadow that's walking back and pounding fists, and he shakes his head and moves the hand from the shoulder, and he puts it in JP's hair and draws the younger man into his chest as he holds JP for a moment as he realizes the hero of the day may need it.
Yeah, I think it goes on for a little bit. Eventually JP will get himself together, I think, but I think there's definitely like a long moment of him just like taking comfort in Gepphardt's embrace.
So, given where this scene has gone, does that mean it's time to start talking about daytime montages? Because Siobhan is not going to wake up before the day. And that scene is going to be interesting in and of itself, because I'm not sure that it's going to be in the same, I think, what Flora's hoping for. But given that we've got JP who's wounded, we've got Gephardt who is worried about Malcolm, we've got Malcolm who's unconscious, and then we've got Flora who is waiting to enact some sort of rage on Flora. Flora exacting some sort of rage on Siobhan. Does that make sense to where we go, or is there something else that needs to happen before that?
No, I think that's appropriate. It doesn't really make sense for JP to go anywhere covered in blood, so I'm good with it.
I mean, would that be my montage as talking to her, or is that a side action of talking to her?
I think, well, it depends on the montage that you want to do. If it's something where if you're waiting for her to come back, eventually she's going to, but we can hold it off. We can have her hold off coming back, or, waking up until the montage is done.
Okay, I'd rather do that, because it's, depending what happens, it's just going to be a conversation.
So I'm just going to be very clear. I think I have an understanding what you want to do without you telling me what you want to do. I don't think it's going to go the way you're expecting. So I just want you. I don't want you to be prepared for it to be as intense, because remember, she's just become basically a sleeper. So.
Mechanics wise.
I understand.
Well, not just mechanics wise. She's narratively she's not going to have what you're expecting. It would be my general way of playing it. So my thinking of playing it. So why don't we do montages? And you guys can tell me who's going to go first. I think Malcolm needs a little bit of time, unless you've got something for waking up.
Nope.
Mine's probably going to be the most self-evident. I can definitely go.
Okay.
So I gotta drag myself to the hospital. I would like to recover from my last activity. So for each ongoing status still affecting you, the MC will tell you if and how it can be reduced during your downtime and by how many tiers. Alternatively, the MC can allow you to reduce any or some of your statuses by 1 tier for each relevant tag you have. So I guess the question is up to you. Can I go to the hospital and get myself healed up?
You're not going to get yourself healed up in 1 day from those types of wounds, unless you can offer me a treatment that deals with both, essentially gashes on your person and then claws digging into you as well. I mean, you probably have some level of healing that comes along with your body like a mountain. But if your act of going and recovering is going to a hospital, I'm trying to think of what, other than them sewing you up, you're still going to have. I'm looking for a way to be able to reduce it by, the status by 3, because what you've got is a wound.
I'm at 2, because I got 1 reduced.
You got 1 reduced.
Oh, temporarily. Yeah.
Temporary. Well, so you got 1 reduced based on the donation by McLocan, right?
Right.
So that was the slash on your back. So you went from, what was it? You went from wounded 3 to bloody 2, right? But then she dug into you again, and you failed to face the danger.
Oh no, I didn't roll. I don't think we just alighted it. But I'll just take the injury. It's fine. Because it was a mixed success. I rolled a mixed success, and you described it, but you didn't give me the tier. But that makes.
Oh, okay. Then you're only going to be bloody 2. So yes, you can get bandaged up and reduce it by 1, and you would be bruised. And then, at the next time you go into downtime, it's the kind of thing that's going to
stitches 1.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair, because if I was doing it the other way with relevant tags, it would just be body of like a mountain, so it only reduced by 1 anyway. So yeah, I go to the hospital, get bandaged up. If any doctors ask me too many questions because of how weird my wounds are,
right.
JP is uncharacteristically surly. And tells them things like, I'm a professional lion tamer, just stitch me the fuck up. He's very uncharacteristically rude and impatient with everybody.
Okay. So that's your downtime, that's your montage. Awesome. Gephardt, Flora, who wants to go next?
I can go if you want me to. Now this is where I think I'm doing the right thing, but tell me that I'm not, and then I'll change it. Due to what happened at the end of the last scene, where he, instead of leaving JP to wallow in his own emotions, he disagreed and embrace the boy. I would like to make a hard choice with my montage action, and it says when your identity or when answers to your mystery are within reach but you forego them, mark fade on that mystery's theme. I would like to do so with my theme, the Blue Fairy.
I don't think make a hard choice applies in a montage situation. However, I think that makes sense narratively from it. So if everybody at the table is okay with that,
It'd be like the opposite to give attention.
Right, exactly. And I think it actually makes sense. Well, so giving attention to your, so this actually could be essentially exploring your mythos, right? But in a negative way.
Yes.
So I think that maybe it's a house rule where we say it's exploring your mythos, but instead of marking attention in a positive element, you're turning your back from it, and there's a fade there. But it's essentially the same thing as making a hard choice. Either way we describe it, I think your description of what you want to do makes complete freaking sense, and I don't want to get in the way of a good narrative story. So if everybody's okay with it, we're just gonna have him go ahead and mark fade for that very reason. Is everybody good?
Yep.
All right. Now, Gephardt, is there anything else you want to do before that happens? I mean, or do you want to describe? Is there anything else you want to describe in that element? Is there more narrative to it, or is it just that?
It would have all occurred during the final moments there with JP, and for a moment, the after effects of it would be that Gephardt seems to be a little bit livelier than he was previously, especially after somebody that has just been through the experience he's been through, being charmed, seeing his friends hurt, seeing Malcolm hurt. He's kind of doting on Malcolm as he's in his sleeping state, making sure JP's okay before he goes to the hospital. Maybe the 80s on 8 would be playing slightly more upbeat music. He's shying away from The Cure. Maybe a little bit more Duran Duran.
Which particular track of Duran Duran? Rio?
Maybe a little. No, it might jump to a little Rio. Maybe a little Girls on Film. Maybe a little something. It's got to be.
I don't know. It also seems like there might be a little Hall & Oates going on there.
Not yet. That's the second phase. Hey, pump the brakes there, big guy. This is.
I'm sorry, I was getting a little too excited. I was hoping for that. Okay, anyway. All right, so cool. All right. Flora, are you ready to do a montage downtime action of some kind, or do I need to throw it over to Mike and put the pressure on him?
Pressure on him.
Oh fuck! I don't have anything. Are you kidding me? I'm unconscious forever.
Do you want to just describe then how Malcolm just kind of wakes up?
Yeah, let me take a look at the montage real quick. Yeah, I mean, I think I have to recover from my last activity. I have a tier 6 status against me.
No, you don't.
Oh, right. You're right. I don't.
Because
that was just narrative.
You got a
critted
success,
it.
right?
Yeah, I critted.
You just have to replace the theme, but you described it narratively that you just collapsed because
yeah.
you're replacing the theme.
I don't know. I feel like I have to explore my mythos. Yeah, I feel like that's what happens. But how that happens... Okay, cool. So I'm going to explore my mythos tag, my mythos theme called Play With Us. And unconscious in Gephardt's workshop for an uncomfortable amount of time for Gephardt. I think especially if he's the only person in here, he would be slightly used to this being what he does, but it's not under his control. And I kind of imagine Gephardt like touching things to put them back to inanimate and like kind of moving around. But in his unconscious state, I am exploring my mystery, which is what is real and what is make-believe. And it's all in Malcolm's head as he's trying to parse out the data between what he makes up and what is real, and that kind of manifests while he's in this unconscious, weird, awakening state, and then all of the things in Gephardt's workshop start coming to life and moving around. And when he reaches over and turns it off, it dies back down, and then like the clock comes to life and the bird starts talking, and then like the tiger moves, and then like and he has to keep kind of like touching things. But in his head, he is replaying a similar thing to what happened when he was with Gideon inside the warehouse. And he is struggling. More and more of his dreams are becoming blurry. Like in his dream where he was on the ship, he never saw the man's face, and now the man himself is kind of blurred, and he's forgetting who that person was. And then he has a dream where there is a beautiful woman locked inside of a tower, and there's an evil sorcerer kind of looking over her and laughing, and the same shadowed, blurred man is walking away from the tower, and then you slowly begin to see the woman in the bed fade as he begins to forget who those people are. So yeah, I'm going to explore my mythos and gain one clue with a method and a source based on my description. I don't know what the clue is, Johnny. I'll ask you what the question is later once I figure out what the hell that question is.
Real quick, you said that this was being the bleeding out of your imagination was bringing things to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
John, would Gephardt be able to see any of these dreams or visions reflected in what was being brought to life around him? Would he be able to see?
That is up to Malcolm.
Interesting. I would say yes. If so, the things are boats, things like sea monsters, like octopus or squid. If you have things like that, anything that looks like fantasy based, like knights and wizards, and any like a dragon or anything you have that's like the knight who saved the princess in the tower. Anything related to that, you'd see those be the more difficult ones to put back to sleep.
Okay, so what Gephardt would do, because he bore witness to the ship in the clouds whenever he was there with Malcolm and saw that. Mm-hmm. Anytime he would see anything that kind of went back to the ship motif, he would begin to sketch down on a notepad everything, almost very much what he did when he wasn't, when he was a city worker. He was making checklists, becoming very analytical, kind of, instead of being the creator that he is, he would begin to look at this as an analyst and see if he could identify a theme, especially paying attention to these ships, because Flicker seemed to be very disturbed by these, and it put Gephardt off as well and made him wary of it. So that's all he would do.
Cool. I dig it. That's it.
Okay, sorry. So, how does Malcolm wake up then? Or are you waiting to describe that after downtime?
Yeah, I don't think Malcolm wakes up as part of this.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to coordinate something real quick. Okay, so that's 3 downtime, or the 3 montages. Flora, do you have a montage that you want to do?
Trying to think. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I'm waiting until she wakes up.
Right, but is there... So that's...
That was going to be my montage.
Oh, that is going to be your montage. Yep. Okay, all right. So describe to me what...
Explore my mythos is what it's going to be described as.
Okay. Okay. All right. So how are you exploring your mythos?
So during the day, while this woman's unconscious, she is not leaving very far from the building, but walking around outside and getting some sunlight and thinking. She would just appear to be some crazy lady walking up and down alleyways while she's sort of in a crazed, confused, talking to herself state. and then she would at times periodically head back inside until, this woman regained consciousness. And I am going to be exploring my mythos. Why am I torn?
Okay, but so how are you exploring this? Like, because the when you're exploring your mythos, you're going to be able to ask a question about your mythos, and you're going to get an answer based on the clue, right? You get one clue to spend.
Mm-hmm.
But it's built into whatever it is that you're going to do, to the actual descriptive nature, the narrative nature of what you're going to do. And if it involves this woman waking up, then she's going to eventually wake up for you before the sun sets.
Yep.
So just to have that context in mind, she's going to wake up probably.
I think she would be
an hour before the sunset.
She wouldn't talk to her until the sun went down. She would still be. She would check in, see that she's awake, and go back out and continue thinking and pacing. And you'd see her.
Well, this woman is starting to scream. Then, help! Why am I tied up? Help! What's going on? Help! And this is not an abandoned area. This is a commercial area. The building that she's in is empty, but there are other buildings around. I mean, there are other things around, so.
Okay, then I'm gonna change what I'm doing. That wasn't.
Okay. All right, so what are you doing then?
I mean, if you're just going to question the chick, you could just do work the case.
I was going to work up to it, but I didn't want to outright say it.
Oh.
That was kind of a...
I mean, you can work the case, and that's the montage move.
Yeah, she's going to leave and spend her idle time during the day working then.
So you're going to give attention to your logos?
Yep.
So you're just leaving her tied up there? That's hilarious.
Yep.
That's awesome.
You're going to leave her tied up there?
Yep.
Did you burn a tag, too?
Hold on a second.
Yes,
Hold on. None of this. You're leaving her there until the sun goes down. Is that correct?
Yeah, and if she's gone when she comes back, then she's gone.
Okay. So how are you exploring, or how are you giving attention to your logos? You're just going to do work?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I was going to say, if you have a burned tag, you could also recover your burned tag instead.
It's probably a better idea.
Because it's burned until you recover it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's going to stay burned.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to roll something off screen, and we'll open on Flora based on that. So give me just 1 second. Okay, Flora, you've given attention to your logos. You went to work. Scene sort of fades on you. Where are you?
Yeah, most of her work is spent trying to stay busy as she's fighting with herself between two. She seems sort of torn while she's at work, but she's trying to, as she usually does when she's mentally preoccupied, she tries to keep her hands busy at work so she can not think about it. So I think she would take the long way back to the warehouse from work.
It's not a warehouse, it's a commercial building.
The commercial building.
Okay.
She would make her way back.
So by the time that you arrive there are a number of police vehicles in front of it, and there are some do not cross police lines in front of the building.
Okay.
Where the damage is.
Yeah, she's gonna use her access anywhere to ask the police officers what's going on.
Guess is as good as mine. We can't find the what actually came in here. There was a woman tied up over there, and she's being questioned right now, and they're about to take her to the hospital.
She didn't say anything about where she was? About what happened before?
She doesn't know how she got tied up. She doesn't remember anything. In fact, she tells some really interesting stories about. She doesn't She doesn't remember being this old.
Interesting. Well, it seems like you've got your hands full. And she's just gonna keep walking.
Okay. And as you walk past the scene, you can see her crying, talking to somebody as there is a medic giving her attention. And you essentially walk away from the building and walk out of the scene.
Yep.
And so we're going to cut to Gephardt's workshop. How do we find Gephardt's workshop, guys?
Tail end of Invincible is dying off as Pat Benatar kind of creeps out. Alan Hunter comes on, stating that it is 8:30 in the morning. At the time.
I guess JP will probably go back there after getting patched up. So hold on, let me just make sure I've got the time right. This is the night after the evening after all of our daytime activities, correct?
Yeah, this would be night 4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
it
when
would be
I
Saturday, technically.
right, so when I arrive, is Malcolm still unconscious?
I think he would be. I think he would, but he would come to after you get there, like shortly after you get there. Like
Yeah,
it's
so-
enough. It's enough time to make Gephardt still concerned.
Yeah, so JP arrives. He's like changed his clothes. You can probably still see like the bandages like poking up, where like the shirt doesn't cover all of his shoulder or up to his neck. He doesn't seem in too bad a shape, but he definitely seems like down, not as chipper as normal. I think he just goes right into your kitchen and starts like making something, unless you say something to him.
Nope, not at all. Are you feeling okay now, son?
I'm not bleeding.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, he's lying.
Thanks for telling me. So Gephardt will kind of look back at Malcolm, see that he's still in the same state, and he'll walk over and assist in whatever JP would be making. If he's making tea, he'll move the sugar over and get milk out and just kind of not say anything, but just be near the younger man, knowing that his bravado is just that.
Yeah, he's making tea for sure. I think make enough for if Malcolm wakes up.
He'll never drink that. There's like energy drinks and cola and soda and stuff in the fridge as well. Woo.
But this is so much better for you.
Right? Well, I will sit back and enjoy that conversation you have with Malcolm when he wakes up.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. You're right. JP's probably pretty much constantly looking over, like sneaking glances at Malcolm, so he'd probably notice when you wake up.
Yeah, I think he would wake up in typical Malcolm fashion. So he just kind of sits up, and like the next time either one of you looks over, he's just sitting on the workbench and he's kicking his feet and he's playing with one of the toys that's on the bench. And as soon as he notices that you're looking at him, he says, "Hi."
Does he look normal age again?
Johnny? I assume yes.
As I told you at the beginning of at the end of that scene, narratively it's you.
Yeah.
At this point, it was just I wanted an implication of the theme book being lost, losing a little bit of more of your logos, your humanity, and more of your mythical ability coming out. So it's entirely on you.
Okay. I think he would look normal to you guys. The difference you would see is that at the root of his hair, he has red hair.
Yeah, so JP is gonna come over with like 2 cups of tea. He'll like set one down next to Malcolm, and he'll be like, "Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?"
I'm fine. Why?
You've been sleeping.
I sleep all the time. Sleeping's fun.
You slept the whole day.
The whole day?
The whole day.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh. Am I sick?
What do you remember about last night?
Oh, well, I remember that we went to the,
What do you remember? What's the last thing you remember about last night?
Oh, there was a scary lady who might be a dragon, and she was fighting JP, and then JP jumped and he smashed her through the roof, and then I guess he beat her up, because now we're not there, and she's not here.
JP is gonna hold up his finger and he's gonna say, "Malcolm, do me a favor. It's a game. Try to follow my finger with your eyes." He's gonna like try to test him for a concussion. And after a second, he's gonna go, I don't think he's concussed. I mean, it's not anything like that I've seen.
Is this your expert medical opinion that he's not concussed?
Look, I've seen a lot of people take, some pretty bad shots to the head. You can usually tell if someone's concussed by if their eyes can follow a moving object. Never mind.
He sees the tea and he puts a can of Red Bull down beside it and a candy bar on top, a full one, not cut in half, a full one on top of it. And for a moment, he just drops his hand on the now reddish hair of his friend and just kind of pats it for a second as he goes off and begins to kind of put things back together.
He leans over to JP and says, "Am I in trouble?"
No, Malcolm, you did a good job. You scared us.
Yeah, but Mr. G never gives me full candy bars.
Think you deserved it this time.
Okay. I was thirsty. Okay. Alright, so what are we doing? Did we find any clues? Did you fight the dragon? Did you beat the dragon? My friend said he saw a dragon and that he was a bird and that he saw a big bird fight the dragon. I didn't believe him, but then that lady turned into a dragon and I was like, oh, maybe he was telling the whole truth the whole time that you could turn to birds and dragons. That's pretty cool. Where's the scare lady?
She's not so scary anymore.
Is she the nice lady with cake now?
No.
Oh.
JP checks his watch. He's like, not anymore.
Oh, I didn't know if you meant the dragon lady or our scary lady. Our scary lady's still scary.
Oh.
But she made sure that the other scary lady won't be scary anymore.
Oh.
Does that?
Okay.
Okay.
But that's no on the cake.
There's a no on the cake.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay.
Negative on the pastry.
What are we doing today?
I don't know. Here on the 80s on 8, it said that only losers aren't looking into the absence of the sisters. So, I guess we should listen to these has-beens and never were sisters leave. I don't know.
JP will say, I hate to say it, Gephardt, but when it comes to going back on this investigation, I think Flicker might be our best option for more information. I kind of regret that, especially with what happened last night, but unless we want to go investigate one of those companies on our own, she's the only one I can think of.
Flicker is... If she is aware of what happened last night, she is not going to be very happy.
What happened last night? Is Flicker afraid of dragons?
No, Malcolm, you slept all day. And Flicker doesn't like that you would sleep all day. And that is my fault.
Yeah, but Flicker doesn't like a lot of stuff. She's boring.
She is, but she does it out of love.
Gross.
I
agree.
I do know maybe one other person we could ask, but it's probably not a great lead. When Flora and I went to Xanadu the other night, Mr. Gallows mentioned that his son was involved with Azer Technologies, but I mean, it's his son, so I don't know how much he'd be willing to talk to us about it.
Harold.
How do you know that?
I own it.
Azer Industries?
No, Xanadu. It's my place. Remember, I got you in, everyone knew who I was, and we talked to Mr. Gallows, and he was okay, and he gave me milk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Mr. Xanadu.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Kemper? I mean, it's not a great lead, but I agree. I don't think Flicker's going to want to talk to us right now.
Wait, I think Harold's friend's missing too.
Just before we all sit around here and try to figure out what to do next, the one of us that would point us in the right direction is not here.
Me?
Where is Flo? No,
Oh.
It is not you. If there were a list, and there was a person at the front of the list and a person at the end of the list, you would not be the person at the front of the list.
While this is happening, JP's already texting Flora. It's just like, where are you?
I heard from one of the other kids that all the cool people sit at the back of the bus, so that means that the cooler people sit at the back of the list. That's fine.
That's not the same, but sure.
It sounds like the same.
It's not.
You know who sits at the front of the bus? Nerds.
You know who sits in front of the bus?
Who?
The driver.
Oh.
So,
If Flora doesn't text back pretty much immediately, JP's going to say, where are you again?
Yeah, she's drinking on her roof.
Please help.
Alone. Just
Send
laying
help.
down on the roof drinking. She's not answering.
If more than 5 minutes go by, he's going to call.
She's gonna put you through to her voicemail, which is, don't leave a message. And then it beeps for the message.
Do you have 2 voicemails?
No.
Oh.
Hi, Flora, we really need to talk to you. We're at the workshop. If you could just give me a call back, that'd be great. Yeah, thanks. Oh, this is JP, by the way. JP Tien. Bye.
well said.
You'll get a text that just says, I can't, I'm busy. And then it has a little, like, emote of a house. Like a haunted little house. And there's like pumpkins and ghosts and stuff. Like the little Halloween themed ones that are just like little... She has she has a little emoji pack downloaded for Halloween stuff.
I just show the phone to Gephardt and I'm like, I think we're on our own.
Is that a haunted house? It's a pumpkin. It's a jack-o'-lantern.
The skulls!
Nope.
But they have like a scary haunted house with dead people.
Yes, and they almost killed us.
I know. Maybe she's there. She likes dead people. They like dead people. Bus driver.
Malcolm, regardless, if she wanted us with her, she would have said something. She said she's busy. I mean, clearly she's...
The picture's a clue. Maybe she's in trouble and she needs us to rescue her at the haunted house.
You would get another text, is Malcolm okay?
Text her back a corn cob.
Why?
Is that how this works? I don't know.
I'll just respond. I think so. A bit unclear.
One time Cal texted me an eggplant, and I don't know what that means.
How old is he?
Cal?
Yeah?
I don't know. He's old.
That's inappropriate. So, what do you
like
think,
vegetables.
Gepper? I can go to Xanadu alone because we don't have Flora, but if you have a better idea, I mean...
Well, we know that we can do two things. We can follow your lead at Xanadu, or we can attempt to find Flicker. I will attempt to apologize, and then she can look into Acer Industries, Chow, and MCX.
Do we know anyone connected to either of the others? Harold Bjorn is the only one I know connected to any of the three, and I just heard his name once.
Yeah, the lady with the giant. The Chow lady. Lily.
Do you know where she is?
Nope. But you don't know where Harold is either, so...
That's what I'm saying. We go to Xanadu to get some clues.
Oh. Oh, wait! The Chow lady said she wanted to work with the cat lady to find her... Wait. Cat lady tried to kill us, and then she went and Cal kissed her, and then they left, and then I think the cat lady said that the Chow people were involved, and the Chow lady said, I have to stop them. I don't know where she is. Flicker might.
Let's try this. Malcolm, where would Flicker be?
I don't know.
Where have you seen her before?
She finds me. I saw her at the coffee shop, and then I saw her in the park, and then I saw her at the warehouse, and then I saw her here a couple times, and then I saw her at the place with all the shiny blinky lights, and we had ninjas, and then we saw her at the spooky scary house one time. Maybe she's at the spooky scary house, and that's where the scary lady is. That was a spooky scary house. Remember that time I went past that one guy?
I do.
That was pretty funny.
Has she ever told you a way to get in touch with her if you ever need her?
Johnny, has she ever told me a way to get in touch with her if I ever need her?
Does Malcolm remember
Nope.
whether he did? Exactly.
I mean, I don't remember.
It's a Malcolm question. It's not a MC question.
Yeah, I don't remember at all. I think I have her phone number from the one shot, but I don't have a phone.
We have her phone, though.
Oh, I guess we do have her phone still. She hasn't come back yet. So yeah, you do have her phone.
Right. Okay, Gephardt wouldn't know how to do this, but this is what's going to happen with the help of JP and maybe Malcolm. Is this phone, I'm assuming it's advanced enough to have email and all of that good stuff. Like it's not a flip phone, it's a smartphone. She's high tech.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Gephardt is going to get around to doing this, and I'm not going to RP him trying to figure out what email is and shit. So, which he would know, but I mean, he is going to go into her email. He is going to write an email to her. We need to talk. He is going to send it to himself or JP at JP's email address, and back to the own email address with like a CC. And then...
Okay, so as you're opening up the phone, a text message comes in. Hey, this is Johnny. I'm not weird or creepy. I'm Malcolm's friend. Hope your investigation is going well. Bye.
It even says bye. That's the newest
To which-
message on the phone.
JP's phone fires off and says the exact same thing. To which
Who is-
Flora's phone also receives the text. To which Gephardt's flip phone, which has the burner number, also fires off with that text.
Flora would call JP begrudgingly.
What does he say?
Hello?
What does it say? What did it say?
Whose phone number? Who did you give my phone number to?
What does it say?
I didn't
What's the message say?
your phone number to anyone?
Mr. G.
I just got a text from a Johnny
Mr. G.
who talks
What does it say?
or texts like JP does.
Like
Just
like
someone's
Malcolm
not
is, you
weird
mean?
I'm
Someone.
JP.
What does it say?
Johnny.
It's just they're not weird and creepy.
But we all got the
Who
the
said,
text.
who said it?
Who's we all?
Johnny.
Oh, I know Johnny.
Me,
Is he weird and creepy?
Gephardt,
No, he's fine. He just talks real fast.
Flicker's phone that
He's fine.
we have for some
That's my
reason.
friend.
You, I guess.
Say you
Maybe
aren't weird
other
and creepy.
people?
You appear weird and creepy.
No, he's fine.
Probably make it to Xanadu. Just
He said he was a bird one time.
All right, I'll meet you
Is
at,
he?
at Xanadu.
No.
I'll see if
he already hung up.
He said he
yeah,
found a dragon.
Thanks, you too. It was great to talk to you. Goodbye.
Remember that time I told you that I had a friend who said he was a bird and he found a dragon, then a bigger bird fought the dragon and then he got away? That was my friend.
To be honest, I got it as soon as you said it, but okay.
Okay.
Flora got the text too. She said to meet at Xanadu. I can go alone if you guys want to try to find Flicker, or you can come.
I've never been to Xanadu.
And you can't get in.
Flora gets a text from JP. Remember your nice clothes.
JP is like, I actually can't get in, but I gotta go get my suit.
Okay.
You should probably change to Gephardt's. They're sticklers. He's honestly really an ass.
I can get you in.
Not wearing a
I
suit.
can get you.
I-
You're fine.
I know the owner.
Yeah.
Okay, well he's not. He insulted my clothes a lot of time. I'll
didn't
meet you
insult
guys there.
I mean, I insult your ninja skills. They're bad.
JP just leaves. He's gonna meet them at Xanadu.
I call the doorman Big T because his name begins with a T and it's hard to say and he's a big guy.
Clever.
Yeah, he gives me high fives. They're great. Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to hear about Johnny? He was cool. He punched a trash can. And then I poked him in the eye with a stick and he was okay with it.
Well, we have JP. He punched a car.
I saw that, but what's cooler is that Johnny's my age.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's two of
yeah.
fear and horror begin to filter over.
And he knows Cal and he knows the Geo guy and he has a scary lady too, but he says she's not that scary and that she's okay.
Is she as scary as our scary lady?
I don't know. He didn't seem to be afraid of her, so she can't be.
Right.
I think she's a doctor lady too.
Point us.
Point us where? So should we go? Do we meet him there?
Let's go.
Yay! To the nightclub.
And so the scene just cuts to the four of you kind of arriving around the same time.
JP is in his aggressively blue suit.
That suit is awful.
JP's just like,
He doesn't say that. It'd be so bad.
Okay, guys, you have Xanadu. What are you guys
I'm
doing?
headed to the door unless anyone does anything.
You can't get in.
Oh no, they gave me one of these things. He holds up the little like golden bar thing that I got
Oh,
the
okay.
first time.
Okay, watch this, Mr. G. Let's see what happens. I bet he
I'll
won't get
walk
in.
up to the bouncer and show him the thing, and in a JP way, he'll say, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm JP. I wore a suit this time. I got this thing.
Is Malcolm visible?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like if there's like, so I imagine it's like the club face, and there's like the line that goes along the street. Malcolm's just across the street with currently normal dressed Mr. G. And he has his arms
Where-
crossed, and he's like, "What?"
Flora is with you as well, or is Flora with JP?
Flora would have walked in. She would have just looked at the bouncer, smiled at him, or tried to, and then walked in if he lets her.
Okay, so Flora would walk in first then.
Yeah.
As JP's coming up and he's kind of flashing this thing, Tamonte kind of grabs it, kind of looks at it, looks at JP, kind of looks at it, leans very obviously to look across the way to Mr. Xanadu. And he's like, is this okay?
And Mr. Xanadu shakes his head no.
To which Tamonte just kind of leans back over. I think you're going to have to wait right here.
I see. I told you he couldn't get in. Okay, come on, Mr. G.
JP
impressive.
like takes the thing back and is just like, oh, I thought I had the suit and I
At which point Malcolm walks up with...
Yeah, Malcolm walks over and says, Big T, these two are with me.
All right, little man.
Yes!
And he
Suck
high
it.
fives you. And he opens the door. You may enter.
Hey,
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. This is Xanadu.
it's loud.
I know. You have to yell.
There is an 80s cover band currently playing on the...
It's the greatest night in the history of my life.
They have juice and milk and all kinds of fun things up there. They have
and currently
snacks.
they're playing a track by the J.L. Giles band.
If this is
I
Saturday
just
mode, I'm
switched
losing my mind.
To that playlist you sent us.
I'm sorry, what?
I switched over to a playlist that Unmade sent before the stream of a bunch of 80s songs.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I missed that. I'll have to go back and scroll for that. Yeah, okay.
How's VIP look? Because that's the first thing she's going to look towards when she gets a table.
VIP's interesting. It's empty again for the most part, except for one table that's occupied on the far side of VIP. And standing there in front of a table are three very large individuals. And behind those individuals, kind of just, standing there at this this table, is quite a interesting looking bald man. Just kind of taking in and assessing the scene. His face is a little scarred up. And as he's just kind of assessing the scene, he doesn't really kind of catch you looking at him. But he's just enjoying a drink with his three bodyguards kind of standing around him.
When the rest of the group...
Flora, there's something off about this guy. He seems familiar.
Okay. She is actually, they would notice when they see her, because it's the same table she and JP sat at last time, if it's available, or the closest one to it.
To the
table that we were sitting at last time across the other side, when we had the bottles service, we were sitting there.
Yeah, so are you saying that you would be sitting at that table and then kind of observing what was going on, and you would be very obvious about that you're looking there?
No, she's just sitting there looking around, but it would be odd to the group that she is wearing gray for the first time ever at night.
Okay.
She's not wearing black.
Okay.
She's just gonna wait for the group.
Are you at a table, or are you at just the bar?
Like a table up top, so you can kind of see a little bit, not VIP, but like
Yeah. Like there's like that balcony ring, and there's like the
Kind.
tables over there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll sit down, and unless Malcolm says anything, I'll just look to Flora and say, what do you think? Should we wait for Gallows to come to us, or should we try to go find him?
I could probably just get him to come up to us.
He makes his rounds. He'll be over.
Yeah, you actually see him working the floor right now. He's dressed in his same, sort of silvery white suit. He looks, immaculately groomed, and he's working the floor.
She would lean over to Malcolm as he obviously wants to get his attention, and she pulls out a bag she puts her gloves on first and pulls out a bag, like a little brown paper bag, and slides it across the table to him.
What's this?
There's a giant chocolate chip cookie. She didn't make it herself. You can tell that she bought it at a store.
Also brought snacks.
Glad to see her well.
Okay. But I brought snacks, though. I brought them for you guys.
And she looks over to Gephardt with like a really
Gephardt
sad
is
smile.
on the dance floor, dancing to Freeze Frame at the moment.
Look! Look! And you just see him start to unload out of his actual pants pockets. They are basically like fruit roll-ups. And he puts them on the table and he says, "They're warm because they were in my pocket for like a whole day, but that's okay because they're tasty. I didn't like them. My friend Johnny gave them to me and he said that they're pomegranate. I don't know what that was, but I tasted it and it was like, bah."
You brought them with you?
Yeah, I just pulled them out of my pockets.
I'm extremely allergic to pomegranate.
Oh.
Just keep the crumbs to your side of the table, and she'll slide over in the
Well,
booth
there's-
a little bit and
Well,
look
there's no
uncomfortable.
there's no crumbs. They're like a sticky fruit snack. You want to try it? Maybe it's not real pomegranate.
Do either of you guys know that guy down there? It's uncommon for the VIP area to be so empty.
The baldy guy? Nope.
So, JP, just for clarification purposes, would that be something that you would notice immediately?
The reason I think I would notice is the last time there was only one group in the VIP section, I got forcibly removed.
And it was Harold.
Two.
That's why the two of us are, yeah.
There was two groups last time. You only paid attention to Harold Bjorn.
Then maybe I wouldn't know. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't know.
I would be very clear about this. This is the last time there were two groups there and you didn't notice. Just as an FYI though, it's the same guy. That was the other group.
Got it. Okay, all right.
Is that why he looks
forget I
familiar?
said that then.
Why he looks familiar? That would be one of the reasons, but it's not the only reason why he looks familiar to you.
She would lean into JP a little bit. There's something off. Can't place it.
Off.
And she'll nod over to him.
Should we go talk to him?
This place is great. Can we get drinks here too?
Yeah! They have juice. Sometimes they have soda and they have energy drinks. And then Mr. Gallows doesn't allow me to have the adult drinks, but that's okay because I don't like them.
And as you say that, he says, "I heard my name," and he steps up. "Mr. Xanadu!"
Mr. Gallows!
And he gives you a high five. "It is a pleasure to see you again, sir. I hope you appreciate the way I'm treating your club."
I do. And my lady friend here wants to know who the baldy guy is.
She closes her eyes and shakes her head.
Just a second. Who's this gentleman right here? And he leans over to Gephardt.
This is Mr. G! I told you all about him that one time.
Oh, are you Malcolm's guardian?
No, he's just my friend, Mr. G.
Friend. And he puts his hand out.
And he
Love
shakes
the
his
trust.
hand. And he shakes your hand, and it's a really strong grip. And you get a sense of untapped strength, or there's a lot of power behind it. And he kind of looks you up and down. You look very familiar, though. Have we not met before?
Johnny, would the left eye flare up?
No, it would not.
Okay.
Not to reveal you. Not in that way.
Okay.
At least in my head, would it risk revealing you in that way, in this situation?
As a show of strength, yes.
Then yes.
Okay,
And
so the left eye would flare up and kind of diamond out a bit in a kind of a North Star type of point around Gephardt's face, and Gephardt would pretend not to even notice. I've never been here in this establishment before, and then it would fade.
I don't think we've met before, but I do think I know you from some. That'll come to me. Mr. Xanadu,
Yes,
it's such a pleasure to see you all here again.
I know.
I can't even begin.
So, my friend lets to know who the Mr. Baldy guy is.
Oh,
He points to him.
and he kind of looks over. not sure I'd want to introduce you, but I'll let you know.
Okay.
That's Mr. Vidales. He's yeah, I don't know if I want to say more than he's just someone you want to avoid, Mr. Xanadu.
Oh. Okay.
Why would that be?
And he looks over at Flora for the first time, and on his face is a mixture of concern and sadness. And he says, I don't know how to quite answer that to you.
Why
But
to
I
me?
would recommend that you leave him be.
Why me specifically? He looks familiar, but I can't
I
place
would
him.
imagine that he does. But please, and he looks over at the entire table. He kind of meets the eyes of each of you, and he says, "Don't get involved with him."
Is he a bad guy?
He looks over at Malcolm. He says, "Come here, my boy. Let me take a look at you. Come out of the booth."
Sure. I also brought a snack. I was going to give it to her, but she says she's allergic to pomegranate, so you can have it.
He grabs it and he's like, "Oh, I like these." And he kind of puts it in his pocket and he stand up straight. And he reaches for your chin and kind of looks at you a little bit and kind of turns your head to the left and then to the right. And he looks around at the table and he looks to Gephardt and he says, "He's different. What happened?"
I'm more awesome. I took a long nap. I slept the whole day.
Mr. Gallows, I believe you don't need that explained.
But I'm concerned nonetheless. And you
As
see
am I.
you see his visage, his nature, his bright, vibrant nature diminish a little bit, and you see a little bit of gray, more gray than his white beard. And you see a little bit more gray on him, and the wrinkles kind of come up a little bit as if an illusion is coming down for just a second. I'm concerned about my boy here. Does Flicker know?
We're working to fix that, Mr. Gallows.
I will make sure that she gets in contact with you.
That would be swell.
And he looks back at the table, and you start to see him kind of brighten up and become vibrant again. And he leans in. I'm not answering your question. And he's looking at Flora. I'm just not going to contribute. He says, I'm not going to contribute to your I don't know how to quite put this, he says.
I am not
I
someone
don't
who
want you
is
to
soft-spoken.
get hurt.
I am not a woman who needs to be taken care of or looked after. I've done fine on my own so far. I'd like to know where I know him. Otherwise, I may need to ask him myself.
Free will is a wonderful thing, and that is your choice. But I will not contribute to you being harmed. And
Is
he
that a
raises
threat?
his arm, and a server comes over with a bottle of your favorite drink. And he puts the bottle on the table. And he walks away. And Mr. Gallows kind of looks at the table and says, "There's nothing else. I do need to be going on to take care of Mr. Xanadu's club."
Wait, no, wait. JP has a question.
Yeah, but before you go, I was wondering. Last time we were here, you mentioned your son was involved with
Harold.
Azer Industries.
He's the CEO of Acer Industries. When I stepped down as CEO, he took over.
Okay. And I was hoping to maybe talk to him or somebody from his group. The name came up, and I just want to make sure we're doing everything we can here.
For what specifically did it come up?
We're just trying to figure out all this craziness that's going on, and I don't know. I mean,
In association with the death of Harold Walker.
You mean Gerald Walker?
Him too.
amazing.
Well, Harold was his older brother, and he died a number of years ago. It was a very tragic, circumstance. Gerald then became the last of the Walkers.
He was. I had a terrible.
And he looks at GP. He says, "Son, you're not very good at this, are you? Why don't you be plain and ask me what you want to know?"
I think probably even like 24 hours before this, JP would have backed down. But after everything he's been through, we see like him steel up a little bit, and he's gonna look Gallows in the eye and say,
"Wait a minute, his balls dropped."
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Sorry, I had to ask.
Okay, all right. He's just gonna look him in the eye and say, "Fine. I think your son may be involved both in Walker's death and in the disappearance of the Dare sisters. I think they're all connected. And I think your son's involved. Probably heavily involved."
And as you say all of that, he gets stoic, and you see his face sort of harden into sort of this gaze. And your evidence?
This isn't a court of law. Just asking you some questions.
This sounds like a jumping to conclusion. It sounds like you are reaching for something that you want to be true, but don't have any way to support that it's actually the facts.
That's why I'm hoping that you can help. All I want is make sure
And let
tying
Is
us.
he
let me-
lying?
No. What is he lying about?
Well, I think
What
that
would
you're
he-
jumping to conclusions. Like, it's... Does he actually think that, or does he think we have something?
It's not about whether he thinks or not. You're not going to get from Gallows exactly what you're looking for.
Your son runs Acer Industries now, correct?
Just a second, young man. Talking to Gephardt and back to JP.
Douchebag.
Now, Mr. Xanadu, please keep your friends in line, or I am going to have to escort them out of your club. Yes, Mr. Xanadu.
Do you know a Trixie?
What do you want to know about my daughter now? I'm trying to understand your friends here's question.
Is she missing?
No.
Oh.
Now, Mr. JP, I believe it's John Paul, isn't that correct? Do you have any evidence to support what you're talking about?
I want the same thing that you want, Mr. Gallows. If Acer Industries isn't involved, if Harold Bjorn is not involved,
How do you know what I
want to
want?
make.
I thought Johnny said that Trixie was missing.
All I want is to know the truth. And if that truth exonerates Acer Industries, I'm all the happier. Just trying to find out what's going on.
Convince him.
All right, cool. Alrighty. Does my negative status affect me here, given that it is a physical ailment?
No, I don't think so.
Cool. All right. I will use a Will of Iron, Earnest, and Simple. And that's just about all I got.
Do you think naive applies here?
I think it. I'm not sure how being naive makes him less likely to convince this person, but maybe more likely to believe whatever he hears.
That's why it's a weakness.
Sure. Yeah, I'll take that. Cool. All right, let's do it. Total power 1. No. That's not good, guys.
Yikes.
He looks at you and he says, what I want out of this situation is not important. It's the accusations that you're throwing around and how my son would respond if he knew about them.
Flora will look to him. I don't agree with throwing around accusations. We all have a lot of facts and not a lot of lines to connect them. We'll keep looking into this, because if we draw these conclusions or these thoughts, even for a moment, other people do, who have more
I'm not
information.
going to deny that. I think you're very correct that given the circumstances, people could draw the same conclusions. But your friend here is asking me outright whether I think my son is guilty. To be clear, that's what you're asking me, right?
No, just asking questions. Just hoping to get a little bit more information on what's going on. Not accusing anyone, just trying to exonerate people. Just trying to.
You won't give me the fact. You won't give me the facts of behind your questions. And until you give me the facts, I won't be able to offer you anything in return because I do have my own opinion, and my own opinion is mine, and I'm not going to share it with you right now.
Tell him about the Malaysian cork.
There's Malaysian cork.
No, the cork board. You couldn't make it talk.
Mr. Gallows, we're not here to accuse your son of improprieties. That's already been done. Somebody else is already leaping to the conclusions that you are laying at our feet. We have seen this. We did not come to these conclusions on our own. Someone else did. We uncovered their facts, their research, their lines and fingers being pointed and drawn towards your former company, now championed by your son, as well as Chow and MCX. If this is none of your concern, then perhaps it shouldn't be any of our concern. But if you believe that this could have some implication, whether or not it's true, on your son's company, then perhaps you should take it more seriously and share with us what you know.
Convince him.
No. How do
Okay, I'm gonna use. Let's see. Fuck. I'm gonna use ear to the street. I'm going to use crime scene investigation. Also, I'm going to use blackmail, falsehoods, and lies yet untold. And I don't think I have anything to take that down. I take that back. Distant and aloof might fuck me up here.
Agreed.
Okay, so 3. Well, actually 4, and then -1. Ka-chow.
Great success. All right.
Hot damn.
All right. So, are you going to extend him a status? or are you going to change his agenda?
I'm going to extend a status to him, and this status is, it's not just for the scene, right? This is, I can.
No, it's a scene. It's only for the scene.
Okay, well then I'm going to change his cooperative. How's that sound?
That's the latter.
Change
of the-
it.
Change the agenda.
Yeah, change agenda to cooperative.
Okay, so again, that change is only going to be for the scene.
Okay, that's fine, but that'll be for everybody. The other one's going to be just for me. So.
Okay. He looks at you, and he looks back at JP, and he looks at Flora, and he says, "If you don't think I'm aware that my son is being suspected, then clearly you don't know that he is actually directly involved in trying to become the chairman of the Walker Foundation, their board of directors. He was clearly at the scene where Phoebe was taken, if she was taken, from her disappearance."
Mr. Gallows, let me make this maybe painfully clear. It seems then that your son benefited the most from Mr. Walker's passing, or potentially could.
Yes, the circumstances do look that, but there are no facts to support that yet. And that is why I was looking back, and he looks back over to JP, that is why I was looking for facts. Because if there are facts, I would be more than happy to support and protect, and there is an emphasis on the word protect, anyone who could come forward and prove it. But I cannot make the case until I know all of the facts.
Now, I have a very important question. Have you ever seen a dragon?
Many. Now, Mr. Gephardt, JP, Flora, you have my attention. I will do my best to answer your questions, but I will only answer them with facts. But I need to get back to my club, so please make it quick.
Flora is the first to speak up. How do I know that man?
I thought we were speaking on the case
Dragons.
of my son being involved in the disappearance of the Dare sisters.
How many dragons?
I have already told you that it is your choice when it comes to that man. I will speak no more on that.
More than one dragon.
She's gonna get up and walk to the bar.
Okay.
She'll excuse herself from the table.
Mr. Gallows, I'm sorry this conversation turned sideways. I think we can help each other. But it seems you might know where the next place to look is. If you can't put us in contact with someone from Azer, who should I talk to?
Acer is not... I'm trying to understand, and he kind of scratches his head, I'm trying to understand why you think the company is actually involved in this circumstance. What do you think you can learn from going to Acer?
I just don't want a thing.
I'm not sure I can learn anything. That's why I'm talking to you.
Mr. Gallows, we need to speak to your son.
All right.
You
If you really believe that that is a...
No, it's not what I believe, Mr. Gallows. It's what you believe. If you believe your son is innocent and
It is
free of
not about...
suspicion, it is. Because should we talk to him and should he implicate himself, it's honestly none of my concern.
Again,
should-
sir, as a father, you should know that you will do your best to protect your son,
How do you
Yes.
know I'm a father?
because I know who you are, Mr. Gephardt. I see through your illusions.
Mr. Gallows, the first.
But I believe, and he interrupts JP. I believe you have been wronged.
You know why then I am looking.
Go ahead, Gephardt.
The murderer of Walker. It is tied to the murder of my family. I believe that if I pull a thread that deals with these sisters, it will lead me to the one that killed my family. Now, as a father to a father, give me your son. If he is innocent, he has nothing to fear. If he is guilty, he has nothing to fear. Have him point the finger to the one that took my family. I do not care about these sisters.
It's interesting that you believe that your family is connected to this. And that my son would be responsible for giving you that information. As a father, I would protect my son. But knowing who my son is, he tends to take care of himself. And would find you, and he looks over at JP, an interesting challenge.
Mr. Gallows, the second time we talked, told me that you would look into giving me a contact when it came to finding what happened to the sisters. Just asking you make good on the promise.
I will do the introduction,
Thank you.
but I cannot protect you unless you know the facts. So when you meet him, just remember, I'm not responsible for what happens. Now, if there's nothing else, gentlemen, since the lady has left, I need to attend to Mr. Xanadu's club.
We appreciate your time.
He kind of looks at the three of you. He looks back to JP and he says, leave a number where you can be reached with Tamonte. And I will contact you when you may speak to my son. He bows his head. And he moves on. And we're going to cut to Flora at the bar. What are you drinking, Flora?
She's drinking whiskey on the rocks. She's tapping one hand, taking shots, well, taking swigs with the other. She looks antsy.
Bartender walks up, slides you over a glass of wine, and says, compliments of him. And he points to the VFA section.
You must not know me that well. And she pushes the wine back, takes her drink, and walks over to the VIP section.
As you're walking over, the server walks up. Here's your wine, ma'am.
No, thank you.
Okay, they let you into the VIP section.
She'll stand, walk up the steps and then wait there, because she remembers last time what happened.
Well, and so one of the three bodyguards kind of looks over and kind of motions you. And he steps forward as you begin to step through. No trouble.
The gentleman bought me a drink. Just wanted to say thank you.
I understand that. But no trouble, ma'am.
Ma'am. And she just nods and starts to walk over.
And he walks behind you, just at a slower pace. And the other two begin to step away. And Mr. Vidalis sort of stands up, and he's 6'2", kind of a big, bulky kind of guy, not very muscular, but it's bulk. It's not just fat. He's a big guy, and his face is really scarred, and it's old scars, and he's balding, and he reaches out a hand. And on his right hand is a gigantic ring. And he reaches out and he says, "You are?"
Flora Mortis. And she'll pull her glove up as she reaches out farther, just so it stays on.
Oh, I'm not afraid of physical contact, Flora. Although it's very nice to meet you. My name is Anatoly. And I noticed you across the room.
I appreciate the gesture.
I know you probably can't appreciate it right now, but that vintage is very good.
Not much of a wine drinker anymore.
But you used to be?
For a time.
Well, have a seat, and let me convince you that wine is by far the best way to enter an altered state.
She'll put her drink down, make sure it's okay with the two guys, and just kind of have a seat.
Oh, don't worry about them. I can take care of myself. They're there for show.
You look familiar.
Do I? I thought the same of you.
I don't see how I don't get out much.
Maybe. I don't think that that's quite true either, though. You look like a woman of the world.
Very small parts of it, I'm afraid. The work consumes me.
As does mine. But occasionally I get out.
What work
Although
is
you
that?
usually find me at my restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Persephone. And that's where we're going to end it.
I fucking knew it.
Yay!
Guys, I have a new Mythos theme.
Do you? What
I
is it?
do. I posted it in Discord.
I don't look at Discord, you know that.
Whose fault is that?
How'd you join the call then?
And
So my new Mythos theme for the big reveal here, especially since I think everyone has figured out who I'm playing. The new Mythos theme is called Fly Fight Crow. And my abilities are We Kill Pirates, Bangarang, and Crow Call. And my weakness tag is I can't tell adults from pirates.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, Gephardt. Okay, anyways.
That should be neat. That should be neat to figure out how that goes.
That should be awesome. It should be fucking amazing.
Cool.
I advanced one of my playbooks.
Oh, nice.
So now if I use tags from my stone body theme when I'm facing danger, I have unlocked dynamite effects.
I can't wait.
Dynamite. You'll just have, there's no actual mechanical thing for that in the sheet, so you have to remember that.
Yeah, I just wrote it in my notes section, so.
So every time you do that, you're just going to have to say dynamite.
Dynamite!
Awful. Awful. So, guys, that was episode 5 of City of Mist Metropolis here on Team Lazarus, which we officially have a team name. There you go. It's official, Johnny. It was said on the internet live for everyone to hear it. Hashtag Team Lazarus wins Metropolis. Make that trending. This was awesome. This was weird. This went unexpected directions. I didn't expect to do that. I don't think anyone else did. I didn't expect to meet Anatoly yet either. And I'm interested to see how next episode starts and what Flora does. So let's go around and get your thoughts on the game and tell us where we could find you. We'll start with Miss Flora herself. So, Miss Ginger Ninja, who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of this episode?
I'm Miss Ginger Ninja on pretty much all platforms. I need to stop this 80s music that I've been listening to since we were in the club, because oh my god, it's super loud. I had a great time tonight. It was interesting how everything turned out, and I'm excited for next week. Should be fun.
I am too. We'll jump over to Greg. I'm sorry if I kill you in the future. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
I thought it was great. I liked actually knowing what I was doing a bit whenever we were rolling stuff, which was refreshing. I liked the 80s music, which is also refreshing. I liked getting to know a little bit of everybody else, which is always refreshing. Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. Let's see, Learn by Play on Saturday night on the D&D channel from 6 to 9. My own channel, Pulp Cthulhu, Grimjack21502 from 7 to 9 on Sundays. And then also starting on Tuesdays on WebDM's Twitch channel, I will be taking to the stars in the new Spelljammer, helmed by Pruitt. So we shall see how that goes. I can't wait.
That's pretty exciting.
Next week.
That is pretty exciting. Awesome. We'll jump over to Sam. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
Hey there, I am Sam, twitch.tv/WizenFool, Twitter @TheWizenFool. I'm all over the place. Just follow me. I have games on Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday on different channels. I thought today was a good fun. I think it was really interesting to see how intrinsic the idea of like seeing how it played out for every character, his reaction to being sort of incapable of really protecting Malcolm the way we promised. I think that was really cool to see play out. I'm really interested to see if we end up having to have a nasty run-in with Mr. Bjorn, because I have a great one-liner that I almost dropped on Mr. Gallows, but I decided it would be better saved for if I actually get into a fight with this guy.
Nice. I like it. Sweet. And last but not least, we'll jump over to Johnny. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think about tonight's episode?
Video Store Cowboy everywhere except on Twitter, where it's Vid Store Cowboy because of your goddamn 15 freaking character limit. Tonight was, I think, most interesting for what happened to Malcolm, because it was completely unexpected. Vidale's coming in was always planned. He's pretty much been there the entire time. This is the first time you guys actually paid attention.
I've been so excited.
In a significant way. So, I'm very curious to see how Flora reacts to that circumstance next week. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So, cool. Guys, this was, again, 6&Twenty Metropolis. This is a cooperative online tabletop experience between myself, Video Store Cowboy, and Not So Speedruns. You can see his show on Tuesday, Video Store Cowboy, and the Thursday show on Not So Speedruns, where Johnny is the DM for all three of these. If you are not caught up, please catch up on YouTube. You can do that by checking out that YouTube link in the description. If you can't get enough of 6&Twenty, or really just City of Mist in general, if these 3 sessions a week are not enough for you, please go check out our friends over at Misconceptions. They are really dope. They have a podcast. They're on like 15, 16 episodes, something like that. They've been doing it for about a year. They are pretty awesome dudes, and their story is pretty cool as well. You can check them out where all podcasts are. And we're doing a special team up with Son of Oak, the guys who make City of Mist. So if you guys go to cityofmist/store.co.uk, it's one of those things. If you go to cityofmist.co.uk/store, you guys can pick up a copy of the book and use the discount code 6&20fan for $5 off. That is the only way you can get the book and the PDF together. Otherwise, you have to purchase them separately in any other venue. So definitely go check that out. Anytime you do, it helps the show. And we're going to go raid, speaking of pirates, we're going to go raid our friend Henley, who's currently playing Dead Man's Crest, a 7th Seas Pirates game. So go check those guys out and send them all your hot sticky raid love. And yeah, I think that's it. From all of us to you guys. Bye-bye.